officers who cause problems. It is also from the fact that we are about to witness another Tuskegee. And if you're not familiar with Tuskegee, it was denying medication.
It's familiar.
Okay, good. So I don't have to go over it again, right? Okay. That's right. That's part of the problem, Benjamin. That's what we call systemic. Right? That's when the ERs get overwhelmed the way they did in 2020. When we're playing literal puzzles to move patients around in beds who are dying next to each other because we just don't have the capacity. That's the problem. And that's what you're witnessing with these regressions. Okay, you understand?
People that didn't go get a job, I know them, right? A, my black friends. B, my all white family.
I can't with that tone.
I nailed it with two. There was the sigh, a heavy sigh. My mental image of Benjamin Herculean. Just Shakespearean trained actor with slick back hair and a smoking jacket. One evening of getting ready for his performance, and he just, comes into this character we call Benjamin, and it's really impressive. And I love it. It really is. It's like a master class, but when I heard you do the class thing that matters, I mean, it's just such like white people stuff 101. I mean, it really is. It's like how the hard really shows up in the real world. Like they're not the same kind of force. Race is the thing that's changing your odds before class even is like on the register, bro. It's like
some people got no class. All they got is race.
At this moment, and race is more about like what you were allowed to have before you get the cheat. Like take what you have. You know what I'm saying? Like two families can earn the same income and live in similar neighborhoods and have similar education, and still they're going to face all the different mortgage rates with the redlining stuff, the home appraisals, the school discipline. I mean, every year,
mortgage
rates, lecture in education. It's the Brown lecture, and it's the same topic almost every year. It's at the Reagan Center. Last couple of years, it's been virtual, and every year you get like a keynote educator come in and say the same kind of story to a bunch of people that probably need to hear. A lot of educators there too, so that they know the story. But it's the same thing. The school discipline rates aren't the same. The police encounters about Michelle Alexander book, which documents really well if you want to read the deep treaty on it. Treatise on medical treatment, job callbacks, all that crap. Those differences, they're not just class. You can't just say they're class. They come from how people and all these institutions respond to race, right? And consciously or not. So race isn't just like some made-up story. It is, to me, like a probability kind of thing. It's going to do the predicting of the risk, even at the same class level. So class for everything, at the same income level, then why don't we see health outcomes matching up or arrest, rates matching up? And we don't. And that's what Michelle Alexander's book that I'm always talking about, which I think you said you either know or have. Like, why doesn't housing stability match up? Why doesn't school discipline match up? Why would you see those things? They don't. So middle class black families, they can have less generational wealth than the poor white families. Right? Like, how does that happen? How are we getting higher risk or downward mobility and all these kinds of things, right? Whatever it is you want to look at, whatever metric, surveillance, suspicion, which is, we see it all the time in this administration, maternal health, whatever, any of the stuff Aisha talks about, with all the white families that have similar lower income. So, like class is going to be there telling you how much pressure you're under, but race is like, what happens with that pressure when it's like pointed right at you. You can't escape. So, it just seems like it's missing the big mark of the big problem with race when you double the class and race.
I got a nice experiment. Let's turn Benjamin black, and I'm talking like Wesley Snipes black, but living
Just as the way
I got makeup artists. We can make this happen.
commentary after one.
But it seems that Kate wants to come up or wanted to come up and didn't receive an invite, so I sent her an invite, asked her in the chat. Fleming, hey, Fleming, what's up? You came in the middle of conversation that's been going on for a bit, Fleming.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. What did you say?
I said you came in the middle of a conversation that's been going on for a little bit. I do suggest you sit and listen for a moment before you tell
Basically,
me.
mine was arm yourself, learn martial arts, get your house and family ready, and get ready for the Armageddon. That's basically what I was saying.
Listen, I was in doom and gloom shape, so.
I'm dead serious about it though. I'm not kidding around. I will have exit plan, fight plan, all his presidency, right? If something drastic doesn't happen. So that's the cliff notes. And then we spun off into the liberal progressives getting mad at each other, how they speak, which is what liberal and progressives always do, while conservatives bond between their race hatred of the other. And they galvanize so cleanly and concisely, and they come up with all their cool little Trumpisms and, lock her up, and all their catchphrases that work for the mindless freaking, zombie Gestapo. Right? So yeah, there's cliff notes. You forgot how they screw up. It's a bunch of equals heathens.
Yeah,
That's everything.
gosh, you act like you've never gone ice skating pro or played hockey.
Like, isn't it funny how the white people can beat the hell out of each other, but if two black people want to have a technical foul, they get fined like $35,000 in the NBA? Like, wonder why that is. Like, wonder why that doesn't apply in hockey.
I don't think there's fighting in hockey. Where's the guy who knew hockey?
No, that's my point. That's my point. We bashed each other's heads. They're not scared. You're not supposed to be scared of the violent white people with sticks. You're supposed to be scared of the black people on a basketball court that stand there in their skivvies.
Why are you comparing and contrasting two sports that have completely different rules, bro? That's not apples and apples. That's apples and oranges.
They have the rules that they do, is my point. This is kind of the point of making a Benjamin about class and race, right? It's like, what do you think the structural integrity of the game is so different between the two, right? It's like, it's because the advertisers don't want to watch that kind of personnel and clientele thinking about, I can't associate my sport with a bunch of black savages beating each other over the head, right? Like, basketball is a high price ticket item that markets a certain image that they want to have. They want to dress them up in suits and all that stuff. And, hockey's like the come as you are, eat and beat each other over the head, take bloody, and the crowd's going, yeah, like gladiators. And, it's kind of, I actually agree with bro.
Once you agree with, bro.
No, he's absolutely right. He's a good man. It's what we call the modern day slavery, where, when Allen Iverson wore braids in the NBA, they had to tell him, like, you can wear braids. You know what I'm saying? Black players are told to wear something, based on what the owners are saying. So, I agree with them. When black players fight on the court, it's like, they're thugs, they're this, they're that. But when hockey players start going to fisticuffs, it's normal. So I actually agree with what Pro is saying.
Yeah, but that's because it was normal. Hockey was basically invented in Canada by lumberjack people. The first puck was
Is that really as far back as it goes, though?
Oh, yeah.
Is that really as far back?
I would trust the Canadian who's national sport.
People that grew up on the prairie, on these ponds that are frozen in the winter, and are rough, very physical people.
There was nobody there before then, right?
Oh, this is
Not talking about that.
Dennis.
Our official sport is lacrosse, which is an indigenous game. So that's our official summer sport. Our official winter sport is hockey. But so there are fines in the NHL. But then again, that's a league, and it'll divvy it out as they see fit. Blah 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 blah. And as far as people beating on one another, you go back to the '60s and the '50s and watch hockey. Yeah, that's what you'll see. That's not the way the game's played anymore. It has evolved. And many of them have their teeth, all of them. If you're smart and wear mouth guard.
I may have to disagree with you on the teeth part, but that's okay. We can agree to disagree.
Indigenous was there's several different, I don't know which is true, but there's several different claims to First Nations inventing it.
Anytime you say Canada, you go back in the 1800s, you better be including the Indigenous people. You know they weren't just sitting around doing nothing.
Thank you for that, Dennis.
Yeah. Oh, I want to share it because I don't think a lot of people understand that, and I think it's important.
No, it was a good call. I thought you were being facetious and for a moment.
Yeah, no, I understand how it comes with that.
No worries. Thank you for sharing.
Before I go, I have an anecdote, not to maybe take us 3 steps back, but the
Do it, Michael. Do it.
conversation that I think happened right as I was coming in the room in Pro, where you were kind of under the gun with what seemed to be some tacit accusations around some tone checking, tone policing, things like that. It reminded me of something that happened to me when I was in my prior job. So this is 2021, 2022, and it was the height of sort of corporate training on corporate sensitivity, DEI, things like that. And I'll never forget this moment of my colleagues who was
Michael, you're.
Oh, there you go. You're back. Kind of.
I'm breaking
With the Matrix momentum. Give it like a second. Sounds like coming up for water. There you go.
Come for one. Okay. All right. Basically, for short, there was a, highly privileged 26-year-old white colleague of mine who I remember literally having an active conversation with a person of color, telling them why we needed to change all the marketing material to Latinx. And when this person was like, well, I don't think that, that's necessarily embraced or enjoyed by the people who you're, ascribing that to, I literally saw a knockdown, drag-out fight of a white person telling somebody who is, not why you should use Latinx. And it was the most surreal thing I've ever seen. It was very surreal. And it was kind of getting at that deeper thing, I think, Pro, you were trying to say, which is there is that which is uncomfortable. But if we center on what makes us uncomfortable, and yet we frame it up as what is the other person. So the sort of artificial righteousness of white knight helping someone else, but really we're centering on ourselves.
Right.
That's where things really go awry. Because this person actually wanted to fight a battle around a purity test, not actually listen to the other person around how they wanted to be called, what these groups wanted to be called. It was fascinating.
Yeah. Yeah. Said that far better than I did. Yeah.
And pro those outcomes you were talking
Anyway, I never forgot it. I thought it was a really important lesson for me. Like, I just try to center on that other person and, not that I'm trying to accommodate every possible thing at all times. That's impossible, but it helps me kind of avoid this issue of projection as much as possible.
Right. What were you saying, Benjamin?
No, it was me, Andrew.
Oh, sorry. What was that?
The things you were talking about in terms of the outcomes for the racialized population going into whatever systemic institution, whether it be a medical or educational or whatever. We have the same issues here in Canada. And we have a different history, but we still have the same issues. And those issues are on mostly land on the Indigenous population in Canada. So you have populations that are coming in from places in northern Quebec to get to hospital and are there and are ignored. We just ignore it. It's ridiculous how this happens, but it does. It happens all the time. They're just not taken as seriously as the person beside them. disproportionately Indigenous as well, both women and men. So, it's the same thing. What happens when they go to court? They get a different outcome than if I went to court.
You have a different chance of being in court in the first place.
Exactly, because my interaction with the police officer right off the bat is different.
Do you want to know what the data shows for women in court?
Canada,
US based, sorry. I'm US based, I have a US lens. Often in regards to things, but for women in court, believe it or not, pretty privilege does not exist, especially when it comes to sexual assault cases. There are studies that have been done that the prettier a woman is perceived to be, the less likely she's going to be able to convince the jury of a sexual assault. Which is, I was going to curse, but I'm not going to curse, but I want to curse of how messed up that is.
I think that doesn't really make sense. That's like really counterintuitive.
Well, you can imagine why. I mean, you can imagine that she brought it on herself. She looked so hot. I can see why another guy would want her so bad. That kind of gross stuff. She's just trying to tease those poor men.
Yeah, well, okay, we're not using that language. That is effed. How about that? Is that okay? Is that too far? Is effed too far?
Sounds good to me.
Alright, cool.
I heard Aisha say it earlier. It's funny that people are reacting to that. I mean, it's true. I mean, I'll drive home with my son in the car, and it's always weird, especially if it's a room that I have going on. And he'll be like, "Isn't that your thing?" He's like, "Why are people cursing in your room?" I was like, "Oh, you have a point. I guess I could tell them not to. Respect my son." Right? I don't think it's too much to ask if you're running your own room at a certain time. You're just like, "Hey, man, just try to hold it down for an hour." But I didn't ask him to do that in particular. But
I may or may not have just
I heard you. I mean, I violate my own rule. So, but it is weird, right? It is weird that the easy ability that nobody of a certain age is listening when we're talking and we don't know who's the other side of the speaker. I remember I'm guilty of that. And it's like we're adults and we should be able to talk like adults, and maybe you say it's bad parenting to have your kids listening to Clubhouse, but it's also weird that we do that. We go to a school all day long. It's like kids in school. You'll hear the kids cursing. You don't hear the adults cursing, right? It's like the adults do their best, and of course the adults are cursing when they leave the building. But it's like they manage to keep it in check, and you manage to keep it in check in your place of work, and it's like, I can't wait to get to effing Clubhouse. You vermin, right? And it's like, but it's like, how responsible is it? You don't know if anybody's driving with anybody in it. I don't know. People don't police it. It's like, whatever. It's the room that I'm doing. It would be cool if it was a lesson. Yeah, it'd be
family friendly.
Yeah. I try not to go in someone else's room and just try dropping F-bombs and S-bombs. It's like taking off your shoes when you go in the house, right? But people don't care. They don't even know the tone. They'll just come in the room and start. It's like, bro, take a second just to see what's going on. Just check it out. I'm not saying people can't say what they want to say, but just consider it. Consider who the audience might be.
And some people love to be inconsiderate of the audience. That's a different problem. So I have heard that lightly cursing in terms of PR stuff actually makes a person or a personality, a persona, whatever, actually more likable, unless it's really hard cursing. It makes sense. It somehow engenders trust in persons. It's like, hey, they're just like me. They drop this here and there.
Yep.
Actually, you should check out probably your horror, the rate of people in women's prison who are there for murder of their boyfriends or their husbands.
I mean, they're accountable too, right? But I'm a full equal opportunity accountability person. I mean, you see the same thing.
What's the number one risk
if she contracts a chronic illness, right? Like you'll see cancer patients, women who have breast cancer or cancer later in life, the partner leaves them. They can't handle caring.
That's definitely the thing that happens to lower rate, right? But it also
yeah, very much lower rate. It's definitely far more significant for females who have their male partners. I had something else I really wanted to mention. Oh yeah, no, for me it's also, and I also acknowledge the opposite as well. When you have a teacher, first and foremost, your teachers, especially in elementary, middle, and high school, are meant to be teaching your children, not hitting on them, right? So we do demonize men more than women who do this, and I feel like we should be demonizing the women who do this to the young boys as well. I think it's equally important. And you send your children to school, you don't want them to be hit on, right? Like you don't expect them to be like have a teacher who's sitting there grooming them, and et cetera and so forth. So there's things like that too, where it's disproportionate. So again, equal opportunity and standardization across the board would be lovely. Unfortunately, it doesn't really work out that way.
Say a single standard rather than double standards. I like that.
Let me take a look at the article you put in the. This is the junior hockey team. I remember reading about this when it happened. Lawyer was the woman that tuned in virtually. When a person summons the courage to disclose their story, the worst possible outcome is to feel disbelieved. I mean, the majority of women who are victims of sexual assault definitely don't report it. 3/4 of persons don't report it, and it's specifically because of the way that you're torn apart on the stand every time. Lawyers know how to make it so that, as a woman, have you ever lied before? And everybody's lied. So, you just get that out there. You have a character defamation, you attack the character of the woman, you degrade the character of the woman, and then you end up showing that, hey, if she lied about this, she probably lied about that. It's a very difficult place to be. It's a very difficult place to be. Are there women who lie? Yes. We saw that in the Duke lacrosse case. But, and that woman actually went on, the woman who accused so this is what these hockey players here in the U.S., the Duke lacrosse case had to do with lacrosse players, right, at Duke University, and it cited race. It incited a lot of heat across the country. It became a really, really big story. There were multiple confounding factors that aided in allowing a woman who lied, who obviously lied, who was proven to be lying about what happened because of literal physical restrictions in the space in which she accounted for. And these things, when you get that scientific factual information, it turns out after the boys were found innocent, and then you find out that the DA had conflicts, and he wanted to get reelected, and there was a lot of money coming in from this place, that place, but everybody jumped on it and made assumptions and jumped to conclusions. The woman who made the allegations in the first place went on to actually murder her ex-boyfriend. Yeah, there are those cases. They're few and far between, but there are still those cases where these things happen. And I remember just going through that case, and if you watch anything, you can watch the 30 Under 30 about it, because that video goes across every single failing in that case. I read the article. I mean, we have these instances happen often in sport as well. That's why Safe Sport was brought up, and Safe Sport was founded after Larry Nassar and the gymnastics team, the national gymnastics team. And it shouldn't have to take a national gymnastics team to bring attention to the abuse in sport. It's actually, we have 2026 revisions to the Safe Sport Code. So anybody who is in sport and works in sport has to be Safe Sport compliant. Normally, initially it was created for the youth involved, athletes under 18, But now there's provisions for the adults as soon as you get into college because there's not enough recourse for student athletes at all, and it's a higher risk space for student athletes and children who are athletes to be in a power differential between the coach and the students, or a trainer, or a physical therapist, or whomever else might be working with the team. And yes, that increases as you get up to the national level. So yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot, especially around in sport. Miss Nancy, are you only an adult at 21 years over in the Netherlands, or is it like 18 and up? So here in the US, adults are defined as 18 and up. I just saw your thing in the chat. Not sure if you're still there. Are you sleeping? No. She's sleeping.
No, I wake up and then I go, no, I just sit here and reading and not reading. And sometimes I go, oh, 30? Why 30? Caitlin said something about 30. 30 is a lot younger, but I said 21 year old adult.
No, I was speaking to Taro. My comment earlier was that when the conversation was around sexual assault, there are men who would when it comes to women and accountability, there are men who would also need to acknowledge that many of their virginity stories, or just generally their sexual experiences as teenagers with older women, were wrong and actually assault. Because I know a lot of men who lost their virginities between the ages of 13 and 17 to women in their 20s and 30s.
Okay. Thank you for explaining that.
Yeah, I mean it's still assault. It's still not right. So
Minors still cannot give consent.
precisely.
Crazy concept. Really hard to understand for some people.
Oh my gosh, to them about it, and then they're like, oh, but it was a good time. I enjoyed myself. I liked it. There was nothing wrong with it. And then you just gotta let it be because you don't want to be traumatizing them about their virginity story. You know? Well, I think if it ain't broke, certain things, but again, that is the societal standard. That is how society views it, right?
For voting and driving purposes, there are more standardized ages, but the age for marriage in the U.S. varies by state.
Oh my gosh.
And there's a bunch of states where you might be surprised how low the age is.
I'm not surprised. Let me guess. Are they all red?
Yeah.
Wow. So surprised. Oh my god.
Right. Some places it's 18, 17, 16. I've seen as low as 14. I don't remember exactly what state that was, but I think it was more than one. And then there were a bunch of states recently who were proposing to lower the age, which is well, if we can't make the Epstein files go away, I guess we'll have to make it legal, which is a really fucking dark thought.
I mean, I think
And reality.
someone came up earlier and said, started bringing up the other, there's just so much to be angry about.
Yeah, the line between being well-informed and out of your mind.
Yeah, and I do encourage people to definitely take a break, touch the grass, go outside, get some air. If you can, if it's clean air, get a run in, hit a boxing bag, do something. And I should be taking my own advice, but I've been curled up in bed for half the day, so.
Do you want to talk about the biochemistry of physical exertion?
Of physical exertion. Maybe if I didn't feel so awful. The injuries are acting up. They're hurting right now. I definitely really hate not being at 100%. But that's alright, that's life, right? So you can only do yeah, it's life, and it's just unfortunate. I don't like, believe it or not, even though I am a vaccine advocate, I'm not a big fan on taking medication that is unnecessary. So one of the we're gonna talk about biochem. One of the responses in the body is specific to pain. You don't want to be masking your pain all the time, especially as athletes and as competitive athletes. And you tend to mask pain, like you pop ibuprofen like candy.
Could pushing it past the limit might cause permanent problems.
Oh yes, sir. Yes, sir. Definitely can. And you want to be able to start to learn your body well enough. So oftentimes, especially with running, I teach people, and I learned myself how to make sure that I could hear my breathing. I knew where my footsteps were. I could feel. You have an innate sense of feeling someone behind you, especially if you're racing. So there's a lot of parts, like moving parts, that affect these things. And so when you mask the pain, right? The pain in your body is telling you something. Now, unless your pain nociceptors are overactive, right? Like they're just constantly activated. You have some kind of autoimmune disease, or you have fibromyalgia, or you have like a pain issue or a pain sensitivity issue. The pain in your body is telling you that something's wrong. You don't want to not have the ability to feel pain, although there are people who are born that way. You want very much to be able to know where the pain in your body is so you know when to stop, right? A lot of people will push through some injuries. Like I remember I had a tight T-band at one point and my hip flexors were off, and I'd get through like 7.5 miles and I'd be like, I have 8 on the schedule. I'm just going to push through for this last half mile, which is probably the worst thing that I could do because I could feel my hip getting tighter and tighter and tighter. And what you want to do at that point is you want to stop. Like I should have just walked my ass home at that point. And then I had to miss cross country nationals. I had to be 3 months in PT at that point because I was overdoing it on the right side of my body with it's not an injury per se, but it is like, an imbalance. It's an imbalance, and at that point the only thing you can do is do strength training and make sure that you're doing all of your core work. And I got a lot of massage and PT, and that's when I got my first PT sponsor, et cetera, and so forth. But the reality of the situation is that it's there to tell you something, and once you start to learn your own body, and you're the only person who's going to know your own body well enough to advocate for yourself, especially with physicians who hopefully are listening to you. Because I have definitely encountered the ones who don't listen, who don't understand that there's something wrong. They want to focus on dumb things like, but you're so underweight, who cares? I'm healthy. Like let's move on to the actual injury, right? Because people, and if I'm overweight for myself, then I'm like, hey, listen, I'm getting weight that I don't normally gain. I will never gain this weight. Like there's a problem here. Something is wrong. And then they'll dismiss it. You look fine. You're not, blah blah blah. Like you know your body. Whichever end of the spectrum you are, like your body. You gotta learn your body.
But you said
It's probably the worst thing.
That's what you said, so.
Yeah, so you know your body, like you have to learn it, and that's probably the best advice I can give medically for anyone is that you know your body, learn your body, learn the differences about it, learn what happens, if I know one of my injuries from college was, it's a perennial tendon injury. I know when it acts up and it starts to tighten up that I take the next day on cross training. I can race the next day if I tape it up, but I'd rather not. And if I tape it for 2 days, I can get back to running within 2 days. Like it's not a problem. But you have to let the inflammation rest. You have to let it die down. You can't, and everybody has to learn this about their bodies. Whether or not you're an athlete, everybody has to learn this part about their bodies. Do you get really tired after a big night out? Are you in heels the whole time? Are you causing yourself that pain? Is it getting worse as you age? Absolutely. These things definitely get worse as you age.
You have to ask, do you rest enough? Do you take care of your body enough? Do you eat good?
Miss Nancy, do you not hear me eating every day all day?
I eat too much.
I eat too much. Trust me on that one. I've always eaten too much. No, I not recovering properly.
You see,
And but here, but the pain I'm feeling today is something's off, something's not right. I need to evaluate. So get it evaluated because the inflammation shouldn't stay this long, right? The pain shouldn't be in my body this long. So little things. So it's just kind of like,
Depending on is it an injury or?
Oh, it's definitely injury related. All of it's injury related. So
That's gonna vary based on the injury, right? Severity,
Yep.
location.
Yep. You got it. And I work in injury, so it's like you're kind of like learning, and clinically you're learning in school and all this stuff. So it's nice to have like this broad-based ability, but it's a rough.
the listening part is rough, right?
I think everybody. I think also what's rough is once you get the education for it, then all of a sudden all the things it could possibly be. And then every once in a while you're like, oh boy, like WebMD when it first came out, and everybody started Googling their symptoms, and then you show up to the physician's office and they're like, hey, listen, this is what it is. No, but the WebMD said, yeah.
Which one do you have access to right now?
What do you mean?
Like the digital medical references.
Oh.
Aid or.
I have, here in the U.S., and this is just because I know that we have all sorts of people here, the electronic medical record that's used in the majority of places that I've been is called MyChart.
Oh, MyChart, sure.
Yeah, and so you can corroborate across multiple medical facilities and practitioners, right? So, which is good.
Let me rephrase that question. So there's like a physician's desk reference, right? That was the original.
Oh, the PDR.
Original
Yeah.
Dr. Google, right?
Right.
But now there's also up to date. There's another one, something about citations. I can look at my notes if it's important. But like we were discussing this in a Monday room on medical technology, which is the medical AIs, quote unquote. Do you have access to any of them?
Yeah, so much. I'm just, as a scientist, I'm not a fan of AI.
Well, here I am dressed up as Microsoft, so I'm not a fan either.
Oh, well, he said Microsoft.
I wanted to tell you, really, it's a fantastic PDR, dude. It's so
Taro, I just took naproxen myself, and like I said, I'm not a fan. I don't take much of it. I take it when I absolutely have to, need to. I'm not the person who just pops the ibuprofen like candy. Can't do that. But I think I took 2 doses today. It might be 3. That's the most I do. Also, for anyone who does take naproxen and isn't allergic to NSAIDs, there's also a topical cream if you're hurting in just a specific area. That's normally recommended Voltaren, which in the U.S. is now over the counter, believe it or not. You can get it in prescription and you can get it over the counter. Originally, it was prescription only a few years ago. It was probably one of the best.
What did you say, Voltron?
I know, right? It sounds like Voltron. No, I'll put it in the chat. It's called Voltaren. Hold on.
Voltaren, yeah.
I'll put it in the chat, so there it is.
I had my time dancing with naproxen, but eventually it became ineffective for the pain and it was causing me GI issues. And I found it was actually lower reactivity and higher effectiveness and greater longevity. Cannabis.
Oh yeah, no. THC and the activation of the inactivation of nociceptors, absolutely, that goes hand in hand. This is known. Cannabis is known to be a proven pain reliever. And for some people, it's better than opioids, which of course, we should be encouraging when it comes to pain relief. AI in healthcare for cancer screening. So we actually went off on this. ICK asked that. I had a nice big argument with someone about this because the reality is, I'll put my PTR back up, because of AI in screenings, you don't want to have to pay. It's a money grab. Okay, so what it is it causes more false positives because of artifacts and the imaging. So hold on, let me see if I can. I gotta set that up with my profile picture. So there it goes again, right? And one of the arguments was, oh, it's so great, you can get a full scale MRI, you can get all this imaging done. And the problem with healthy people and majority healthy people getting full scale MRIs and things is that you have artifacts, you have random things that will show up that are non-causative for anything, and then you end up having more invasive testing for something that never existed in the first place. And what happens?
What's the error rate for humans and then AI, if you know? I don't have any numbers.
I don't have that data off the top of my head. I started to look at it, and then I think the conversation shifted.
Yeah, we were talking about mammograms, remember?
We were talking about mammograms.
And I asked you, is there not another way?
Oh, yeah, remember that?
I said the MRI
machine. And so that's
Yeah.
completely different. It's just different. It's a different method. Like the reason that mammograms are done that the way they are is that you have to assess not only the density of the breast tissue, but you have to be able to image what you can, and then go subsequently with an ultrasound possibly. An MRI is also possible as well. But again, it's all based on your practitioner. It's all based on your physician. It's all based on your whomever you're going to. Again,
insurance also?
US. And the insurance, of course, is always a problem, right? Like, how many patients come in? Does my insurance cover this? Just the other day, insurance was charging, I want to say, $150 for, something the patient needed. And the reality was, on Amazon, you could purchase the exact same thing for $30. So this here in the U.S. is absolutely a part of the problem. If insurance isn't covering it, people are hesitating to get the care that they need. And I mean, I've dealt with this within my own family for decades. Oh, if insurance doesn't cover it, I'm not getting it. Hi, you need this medication. Like, I don't know what to tell you. And that's when you see people who are portioning out their insulin because it's such a. And I could get that.
So what do you think Gavin Newsom is going to produce insulin in the state of California? I guess probably at first only for people within the borders, and then maybe export. I don't know about their long-term plan, but the price is supposed to be $11 per unit.
I mean, God bless. Like, I hope it goes through.
Yes.
Right? Like, nobody should have to go without their insulin and risk their lives for it, right? But yeah, no. I mean, AI. They're asking AI and medical or privacy or agency for so you do have the informed consent, right? Because it's in your paperwork, right? Like there is informed consent. You have to go.
If you can understand it.
Yes, if you can understand it, you have to go through the HIPAA privacy notices every time you go to a physician's office or to an imaging center. The first thing they're going to give you is a notice of privacy practices and your HIPAA, right? When all that gets leaked, then that's always a problem. I mean, there are outages all the time.
Hospitals have not been getting hit as badly as universities since this calendar year. But there's still lots of time.
Yeah, 23andMe is kind of painful. It's interesting though, right? Like, so one of my friends about that. I feel like that's a Dr. Copeland acknowledgement. But also, I mean, one of my friends who's a neuroscientist with me at the university, he's a postdoc, and he literally messaged me today with like his genome, because he had his genome sequenced. And I was like, wait, which company? I was like, which company did you use? He's like, this is where I made a video of where my blue eyes are exactly located on my genome, and it's such a fun video. And I'm like, I love this. It was so fun, but also it's such nerdy, huh?
You got a link to that somewhere?
No, he didn't make it public or anything. He just was sharing because, and as a scientist, like that's a secret.
Yeah, that's the nerd shit.
It's the nerd shit. I'm all about it. And I was like, oh my God, I love this. I love this so much. And he highlighted it in blue, and he's like, this is what makes all the ladies go crazy. And I was just like, LOL. No. But, the fact is, and then I was like, oh wait, hold on, which company did you use? And it's some even more comprehensive, more inclusive company that tests for over 20,000 genes that are implicated in breast cancer versus, under 100 that normally like something like 23andMe would test for, right? Whether or not that's all necessary, again, sometimes over-information is a problem. But there's a lot of other things. Now, I'm not a geneticist, still neuroscientist, cell biologist, stem cell biologist.
Just a neuroscientist and cell biologist.
But I'm not a geneticist, right? So that's not, we all know basics. We all could teach like a basics genetics course. Like all of us who are in biology could most likely teach every single basics course that needs to be taught. And then it's, when you get into the specializations of 400 level, graduate level and above, then it requires your specialization. This is where Benjamin flips out. But regardless, you end up, I was kind of looking through it today, and it's a bit expensive, but it's also like, gosh darn it, I wanted to do that for a while, and if I could trust this biotech company, if I could trust the physician that actually founded it and stuff, and I do my research about it, I'll share. I trust my postdoc buddy, but, I think, I don't know. I think the government already has access to so much of your information at this point that I don't want to say it's pointless to try to protect yourself. It isn't pointless. I think that there's just a significant amount that's already going on, and that's why like AI always throws me off. We're already at 10:30 in the evening, and I was supposed to get through some more trainings. Every single clinic, every single hospital that you work at, every single place you rotate through, you have to do completely new onboarding, and it's really frustrating. It's really annoying. And today I spent half the day dealing with multiple people on email chains trying to be like, does she have access to this yet? She needs access to this in order to be able to work here. And then it's like, it started with like 3 people that were on the email, then suddenly like IT's on the email, and then like 9 more people, and you're just like, dude, just fix the goddamn problem.
And it's like, oh, she needs this login.
And they're like, you have to go into work and all. You have to actually go to the hospital site to do it. Like, no, thank you. Like, no, thank you. I can access it.
You crazy.
I can access this from home. I will punch in and punch out from home in the middle of the night if I have to. But yeah, no, pain sucks. I definitely didn't want to move from anywhere today. I wanted to get a lot more done today.
You don't recommend pain?
I don't recommend having to live with pain.
Negative 10 out of 10.
Negative 10 out of 10.
So there was this pain scale that I learned about recently where the scale was, I think the max on the scale was like under 200, and it was designed more with a chronic pain type of patient in mind. There was a
100? I don't know that yet.
No, it was over 100. So like the normal, you walk into whoever's room and there's like the 0 to 10 pain scale, right? Like where would you place childbirth on 0 to 10?
I cannot attest to any of that personally, so sorry. I'm very careful.
Over 10.
There we go. As Nancy says, 20 or 30. There you go. 20 or 30 out of 10.
But the point is that over 10 at minimum, right? So it illustrates that the 0 to 10 scale doesn't really cover the realistic entire range of pain. And so as a result, they rescaled the pain scale and they put childbirth at somewhere near 100. And then like the above 100 to, I think the max on it was like 185 or something like that. I don't remember what the top of the scale was, but like fibromyalgia was over 100. It was greater than
For sure. I mean, I don't know if it would be. I don't know. I can't personally make that. Make that.
Some say it's nothing, and some say it's really painful.
Of course.
That depends too.
Yeah, but every body is different, right? So.
But for sure, I believe that it's over 100. Oh yeah.
I would When I learn that, I'll talk about it for sure. I don't mind acknowledging that I don't know what I don't know. It's fine. But pain management is a difficult position to be in too. I've had accidents and I've had to go to like pain management, persons, post surgery, post whatever, and that's a difficult place to be. And there are things that you can get. So one thing that's helped me as an athlete has definitely been PRP. Platelet rich plasma injections. Those are 50-50 according to who you speak to. I'm so mad. Like I definitely wanted to get this work done, and I just held up.
I thought PRP was like superficial only. I didn't think it went.
It joints.
Is it injectable?
It's injectable. So what you do is you separate. You have a blood draw, and then you separate into the platelet-rich plasma, which is a clear yellowish kind of fluid.
Sure, I've heard about it for like facial rejuvenation and hair shit. I just didn't know it was injectable.
Oh yeah, no, it's injectable. I don't believe it's used topically, but I could be wrong. Someone can check me on that if they want. Like the other day, and it's funny because depending on the specialty, right? Like, so I've taken a real interest in obesity medicine, lifestyle medicine, and GLP-1s, right? In addition to emergency medicine. It's fascinating once you start like going through different clinics and stuff. Like, who knows what surgeons know what. So like one of the things about a GLP-1 like Ozempic or Zepbound or Wegovy or any of these things that people are on, and first and foremost, I think they're miracle drugs. I believe everybody should have access to them. I think that they're absolutely insane in their power to be able to reduce your A1C and your sugar counts, and help treat chronic illness and insulin resistance. In addition to the weight loss, the weight comes off, and then people are.
Let's see what it does pedals on all of that, because this is definitely not the first intervention we've seen where there was some sort of positive preliminary data from.
No, it's not preliminary anymore. This has been over 4 decades worth of work. The GLP-1s have been around for a long, long time. They just surged in popularity after their secondary trait of weight loss ended up becoming, a little bit more well-known and solidified, right? So when it became more commercialized, to be able to use them for weight loss for, commercial purpose, for, what's the word I'm looking for? Superficial purposes of lifestyle
medicine.
Yeah, I mean, it is really a part of lifestyle medicine. Now, take a patient who's 400 pounds, 300 pounds, has never been able to get rid of the weight in their life, has food noise, has the inability to regulate their eating. People say, all you need is willpower, but the reality is that their brain and their feedback mechanisms are completely different. Everything is hormonally regulated, and there's a kink in the hormone regulation, right? There's something.
An addiction, would that be unfair characterization?
Calling what an addiction?
Like
food, because it activates
the ability to restrict your eating.
It would be unfair. It would be unfair because it's a hormone loop. It's a feedback loop. Once one hormone goes up, then once you aren't getting enough of the hormone, or you're getting too much of the hormone, or you don't have enough receptors of the hormone, or you don't have enough activation of the receptors for the hormones, or you don't have a proper feedback loop to your brain that allows you.
Something in the process is broken somewhere.
Yeah, something in the process is broken.
It's not a matter of taking diet or something.
Yeah, no, I mean you can, and there are people who will have this willpower, but in this case, it's also regulated by hormones.
Yeah.
And it's the biochemistry of the matter, right? So what you hear from people often, I mean, Oprah just started GLP-1s, right? And she realized that people live this way without thinking about food all the time, because it's a reality for those who don't have that feedback mechanism or that inhibition or whatever correlation there is. It's a reality to food all the time. What am I going to eat? What am I going to eat next week? What am I going to eat when I go out with my friends? I'm hungry now. What's going on? There's something wrong with your satiety levels. There's something wrong with your hunger and appetite, messaging that your brain is receiving. And therefore, you need to regulate it. And what GLP-1s do is they help the regulation, and different ones have different mechanisms of action to do it. But they're all basically similar in that they allow this noise, this what's called food noise, to calm down. And suddenly a patient is thinking clearly. They're not worried about their next meal. They're not worried about having to eat because they're satiated. And once you combine that alongside, I mean, the first line of quote unquote defense is always, lifestyle and diet, right? Like, exercise more and eat less, or eat better quality foods or increase, satiety, like high nutritional value foods, et cetera, and so forth. But that doesn't work for everybody. So when you acknowledge that there's a possibility that there's a hormone regulation feedback loop, misinformation situation, then you end up having the ability to lose the weight because it will come off much easier because it is basically, and there are a lot of more factors to this, but a caloric, reduction in intake, that's going to do wonders immediately. It will do wonders. And so, now these patients are going from 400 pounds, 300 pounds, and they're beginning to be able to move their joints without the pain that they always felt with the extreme pressure that was placed on their limbs and their joints. And suddenly they're able to start walking and they're enjoying themselves. And suddenly they're able to take part in exercise programs that they were never able to do before because it was just too painful to do so.
Yeah, and a lot of things change in their mind too. It's a mindset.
Yeah, and then you believe you can do it. Then you start to believe you can do it, and maybe it's slow going, but suddenly, oh my gosh, something that I was never able to do, something that I was never able to access, I can suddenly walk. I can walk for more than a mile at a time. I can go up and down on a step, or I can do, these jumps now that my body was never able to handle the pressure of. I'm able to go and walk up a hill and not feel winded afterwards, right? All of these other concurrent issues, the hypertension, the hyperlipidemia, the diabetes, and the majority of people who have diabetes have type 2 diabetes, which is adult onset, right? Which is partially impacted by insulin resistance, right? These things start to heal. And once they start to heal, patients feel better. And once they feel better, they increase their quality of life. It's not a cheat.
But that's therapy, I guess, to guide these people who have it becomes a mental issue, because they cannot think of things.
I think definitely, behavioral therapy should be, also in place because suddenly, and then of course there's the society's role that ends up being like, wow, you look great, and these are people who have struggled with what their external image potentially has been their entire lives, It's hard if you don't place your value and your basis internally, rather than externally.
Guidance is also important in this whole road where they go through.
Of course. And I think, again, like I said, I think it should be available to everyone. I think that it was so cost prohibitive at first, right? It was $2,000 a syringe, and that syringe lasted you 3 weeks, or if you really stretched it. And you're going to need that therapy. Now, one of the hard things is that most people will be on them for life because the instant they stop, the weight will come back. Unless you've truly lifestyle changes.
Did they get the guidance through the whole process?
You would hope so. You would hope so. It's hard enough to have a physician who's well versed. So one of the things that I know, I saw, and this is one of the problems, and this is one of the things that if you go to the ER in the United States, and I've personally lived through this, and I've also, witnessed it, and I do my part when, wherever I'm working or placed, I always do my part to make sure that a patient's note and their charting is accurate as I can make it. And one of the things is, a patient came in and somehow it was attributed that they had a GLP-1. But it was also a patient who came in who actually needed emergency surgery. I don't want to say emergency, urgent surgery, right? It could wait a little bit, but they definitely needed surgery and it needed to be done sooner or later. And one of the complications of being on something like Ozempic or tirzepatide or Zepbound or Wegovy or any of the GLP-1 agonists is the fact that you cannot be on it prior to surgery. It will complicate the surgical procedure. It interacts with, I want to say that it interacts with the anesthesia, but I can't remember off the top of my head. I'm certain I can look it up. But you have to be off. You have to be off your meds for a good week so that it gets out of your system.
And I'm tired is the funniest word.
You can ask for it. you can aspirate.
Well, I mean, I think you can aspirate in any surgery. So
Yeah.
I'm not sure if that's specific to GLP-1s though. Like, is there like any
Okay, so
country?
yeah, that's what I know that's what they had said, that, if they have to incubate, and that, yeah, they could aspirate, from the incubation. So that was one of the things.
Incubation is what you do with eggs.
Oh, I don't know that word at all. Listen, I'm not a medical professional, I just know what they told me.
I know. I just found it so funny that we were talking about something that you do for like eggs for chickens to hatch.
So like, it's not incubate, what's it called?
It's with a T. It's with a T.
She does this to me all the time, I get my words mixed up.
No, it's fine. I'm teasing. It's with a T as in Tom. So incubate is with a C, and intubate with a tube is with a T.
It's on a tube.
My mom. Yeah, it's the tube. It's the tube that they have to stick down the airway. Yes, you're right.
Yes. Intubate.
The cause of many poor takes during the pandemic.
And incubate, you still stick things in other things, but it's not a tube down airway.
It's not a tube down an airway or a little chicken's throat. A little chickadee. So, anyways, you know, I'm a fan. I see what good it does. And the side effects are, you know, are harder for some people than others, but also it can be eased by changing which GLP-1 you're on, right? So, I mean, and it also can be eased. It's also the microdosing. It's also the fact that people do not take in enough fiber. They don't take in enough multivitamins. You know, if you add fiber to your diet and you're unable, so one of the reasons that it works so well is that your digestion is slowed, which means makes you feel fuller for longer, which allows you to not eat as much and remain in a calorie deficit, right?
So also not cause potentially like a higher constipation.
Yes, and that's why you would want to take fiber first and foremost for anybody with constipation. You know, increase your hydration and increase your fiber intake, right? It'll help ease along what's going on in your digestive tract. So the GI tract will push it along. So the peristalsis, the movement that the intestines have in pushing your waste out, is slowed so that you feel fuller longer. But it also can contribute to constipation. It can also contribute to hemorrhoids. There's a lot of GI issues that occur. I mean, that's exactly the, you know, where the mechanism of action is taking place for a majority of what's happening.
The part that fucks with me is that, and tell me if this is true, when you leave, you know, when you're not taking it anymore, those suppressant effects aren't present, so there's a risk of gaining weight back and, you know,
Right.
going back to old behaviors.
Right, and so that's why the behavior therapy is so important, right? Like changing your mindset about food is so important. Learning what foods are better for you is so important. And I mean, even like physician, you know, it's funny because one of the best obesity doctors that I know, he always says, you know, I still have patients who are physicians. We all know better. We all know exactly why the things we're doing are or are not working. But sometimes you just need an external hand to help you, like, you know, move forward in the proper direction, right? Like that's just how it works.
Keep it under control. Do it to your doctor regularly, so you won't fall back.
It's just we're gonna see. We'll see more data come in. Hopefully sooner than later. I will prescribe those ubiquitously. I think it's a great way to better the health of all. I mean, we already have a 40 to 50% obesity rate here in America. It's absolutely ridiculous. It should never be this high. And I mean, that's just contributory factually to a bunch of problems. You know, and more comorbidities.
Rate amongst nations.
Yeah, we are not so good at being
We're number one.
We're not so good at being healthy, and that's a problem. And MAHA is not a health advocacy group at all. And don't let me get on the soapbox now.
Okay. Get started.
No, I'm just speaking about one thing that I truly appreciate and I think is underappreciated because of the stigma that society has placed upon it. Oh, you need a drug to help you? Oh my god, you failed. No, nobody's a fucking failure. Sorry, I cursed, I know. Bro's not here, so his kid can't be listening. No. It's better for me, and then I can keep my professional head on better. But also, I mean, it's just so problematic at that point, you know? It's like, it causes harm. So, I am changing the last of my curtains to, what is it, when you can't see through them, the blackout ones. So, you know, people can't peep Tom into my house anymore.
Trying to answer educated.
A little bit. I mean, it just, I like natural light a lot, and I get a bit of it in here, but I don't get enough of it. I feel like there's never enough natural light.
Why don't you choose blackout curtains over like mirror tints?
Not my place. I rent. Also, I just needed the easiest way of doing this. So, a bunch of men came over, did some manual labor.
Did some bad things.
Some manual labor, because I don't feel like breaking a nail, because that's part of my job.
These things are insured. I can't risk them.
Do you know that it's really difficult to insure your body parts, especially as a model? It's really difficult.
We're insured by Lloyd's of fucking London.
And expensive.
And it's insanely expensive. It's like, I mean, I make good money with my hands, legs, feet, that I'm holding, but I do not make that kind of money. Or it's like thousands and thousands of dollars for the year just to insure them. I mean,
Do the hand models have a union? Because I think
we do not. Actors have the union. We have the SAG-AFTRA union. We do have like the Model Alliance, which is actually super helpful. So I've known the founder of Model Alliance for a long time. It's an advocacy group for signed agency models, and well, it started in New York, and now obviously like any model signed around the world could technically like join. But you know, if you're signed to an agency in New York, and which I'm told is probably like the hardest set of agencies to sign to, especially if you're trying to come from abroad. Like they had so many, like I was kind of shocked at how much the European ladies would have to do in order to get signed to like my agency. Like I'd be like, wait, what do you mean you need all these tear sheets and stuff? Like, really? Oh, that's awful. Like it's awful because they're hard to get, right? Yeah, rough times. Oh god, they're awful. I can tell like within an instant that that's not a real hand and that's a garbage image, and it's like no hand model in their right mind would ever be seen. And no hand model that actually knows what they're doing would ever pose like that, blah blah blah. It's very
You know what really gives it away though? The 6th digit.
Of course, every time. But I mean, you know, everything's gonna refine more, and it's kind of frustrating because, you know, I mean, we have higher rates than an editorial in the middle of Vogue, right? Like, it just takes away our money. It just takes away our money.
How many hand models are there in the US or globally? Doesn't have to be citable, you can just estimate.
I mean, my agency, I would say there are about 20 of us that regularly work. Maybe.
That's a hand model agency?
Yeah, that's like parts agencies, right? So there's a few of them across the country.
Okay.
Actually, I haven't heard from them.
Less than a dozen?
Yeah. Less than a dozen, absolutely. Like I think there's maybe 3. I think there's maybe 3 that are worth signing to in the entire country.
Well, I'm trying to get a total sample size, so.
Well, I mean, there are other agencies. So my fashion editorial agency, right, like the one that you do runways through and all that stuff, like they have a hand model, like they have a parts modeling division, right? but it's usually like we are all signed to the top 3 agencies in the country. Like we're all signed to the same agencies because there are only a few that actually specialize in couture and boutique stuff. So there are different hand models as there are different models, right? Like you have like high fashion editorial hand models, which are the long, skinny, long fingers and, skinny ass, like freaking long legged feet and legs that you see in all those advertisements for high-end companies like couture companies like Bottega Veneta and, Tiffany's and all that stuff. So then, those are the types of hands and legs that they want to have for that, right? Because they're high-end editorials. Then you have like the regular quote unquote hand models, the ones that are like holding the items, like maybe an iPhone, right? Or
an electronic machine
with like working with like a kitchen. Like you can handle, and it's fascinating because somebody had made a comment about. It's so funny, the GLP-1 agonists, right, like the Ozempics and stuff, they came out in pill form, and the first company to acquire the pill form was Serena Williams's husband's company, healthcare company, RO. And so they used an AI freaking hand model on that, number one, definitely AI, and it was chubbier, so it was a larger bodied hand specifically. And people are like, ew, why are these like ugly hands being used? And I'm like, I can explain this because I am a hand model and I can tell you what it is. This is like a regular lifestyle hand, number one. Number two, definitely AI, but I didn't mention that part. The nail beds are shorter. So for editorial and high fashion, you have really, really, really long nail beds. For anything that's like a regular something that's being marketed to like the majority of a population, then you use a larger bodied hand and shorter nail beds. And those are considered lifestyle hands. And so you would fit, yeah, I know, y'all really want to know this, right? So you would fit into one or the other. So when it comes to medications, right, Row is indicated for larger bodies. Row is indicated for diabetics who also have swelling in their hands. And if you gain weight in your fingers too, right? Like that's one of the things that a lot of people after they lose a significant amount of weight, they're like, I didn't know my toes and my fingers looked like that kind of thing, right? Like you lose weight everywhere. So those are the reasons that you would use a larger bodied hand in that specific advertisement. Like, does that make sense? If you have a medication that's indicated for obese people, you're not going to use a skinny bitch. Yeah, sorry.
You're trying to show the before or the after.
Well, you're showing the patient that it's mainly marketed to, right? So like there's a lot of like I remember I was posting about a specific, casting that came across my feed, and I'm like, my agents are trying to submit me for this plus size casting thing, right? And mainly part of it was because it was a medication that was specific, for obese people, but then there's also medications that you get cast for in ads that they cannot be used with people who are obese, morbidly obese, class 3 obesity, whatever term you need to use, larger body, et cetera, and so forth, that makes people happy. But the reality is that those medications are contraindicated for obesity because it would kill, like it would harm an obese person versus a person in a smaller body. Like that's just what it is. There was what was the medication off the, I'm trying to remember. I mean, this was a long time ago before I went back into medicine. And I remember posting, and they're like, why can't the obese people be considered for this? And I'm like, because it would kill an obese person to take it. Like, it's literally contraindicated. If you take this medication, and you're like, it's like birth control, okay? The one thing that larger body people were not told was that certain birth controls don't work as well. They're simply just not as effective. And that is directly due to the larger fat percentage.
You mean?
And at the dosages that are normally prescribed, right? Because it doesn't dissolve, it doesn't have the same mechanism of action in that specific quantity and concentration. And you have patients that come in and they're like, why wouldn't I be told this? Like, that's a problem. That's a problem. Not only it should be on the practitioner, but then, and then you end up getting yelled at because, you're trying to say something that's like factually correct. And it's very frustrating when I hear something like that because I'm like, oh my gosh, this is terrible because you deserve to know whether or not there's a possibility that this might not work in the same manner.
And you get pregnant.
and then you get pregnant. And maybe the patient didn't want to be pregnant. Maybe the birth control is being used to modify and moderate, pain from periods. Maybe the birth control is being used for something else, and you're still not getting the same kind of effectiveness. So there's a lot, right? So people are complaining, oh, why aren't they, because it's not indicated for that group of people. It's not indicated for that population. And it's kind of hard too, because it contributes to stigmas as well. When you have HIV medication and it's being marketed towards a certain group of people, that stigmatizes. Huh?
Some people are contraindicated because I've used that.
It's not meant for those people, right? So contraindicated means that there's an adverse effect. There is a negative effect for that medication to be used for that population.
Counterindicated, like this is a bad.
Contract, CONTRA. Against. Contra means against. Indicated means, attributed to. Indicated for. If it's a hypertensive patient, right? If you have hypertension, which is high blood pressure, there are medications that you can't take at the same time, right? So if you're on certain cardiac medication, you can't take Viagra. It's contraindicated. Does that help?
Is CPR indicated for cardiac arrest? It is indicated.
There you go.
Is CPR indicated for pregnancy?
Yeah, all it is, you've got to just be higher on the rib cage. You can still give CPR to a pregnant person, but you can't.
Just for being pregnant.
No, it's like is drinking not even drinking, but it's meant for pharmacology, right? It's meant for medications more so than it is for procedures too.
Medical interventions.
Yes, medical interventions. So there you go. Indicated or not indicated for the specific population or the specific affliction. Why can't I find the other blackout curtain? I just took another episode, so I think I'll go to bed.
She's gonna go to bed.
Yeah, I think I'll go to bed soon, but I'm okay. I'm still running around because I know I opened an entire box of the curtains, and I kind of want to put this other one on, and I took this guy off.
How long does it take you once you get into bed to actually fall asleep?
I'm
so awake right now.
I'm totally awake right now because I'm walking around. No, I'll pass out. I'm debating, do I do my modules first and then pass out, and then I have to get up and get ready. My shift is at 7 tomorrow, I think. I forget.
You do your modules and pass out.
I think that's a good idea. I think I'll do that. You guys can come along for the ride if you want. No, I can't be I can't be blaring out confidential hospital shit. That'd be so funny. Who wants to take my hypnosis modules with me? Every single one, you redo the same crap that you already know. It's so annoying.
I know they make you sign an NDA, but I imagine you can actually find those modules online.
If you do, then you're going to find half of, I don't want to say half, but you'll find all the medical things that I've been modeling for. That'd be really funny. It's only supposed to be for internal use. So they have images of me slamming insulin or epinephrine into my leg. There's videos of me doing that. Yeah. They'll give you this fake injector pen, and they're here, can you come in? They'll have the manicurist on set, and you'll get your nails done and the whole thing, and then your legs have to be all ready for it, and you're sitting there, and then they'll have a fake leg for you. So
A fake leg,
That's
right?
a fake leg, because then they have like a different viewpoint. Like, this was so funny. I remember the first medical, like, and they'll have a different viewpoint, and you'll slam the leg injector into that leg. And part of booking that kind of work also is your skin tone, right? So my skin tone is pretty fair in general, and it's just like kind of almost medium. It's almost medium, so it can go darker or it can go lighter. So the lighting that they use, depending on which market they're using it for, So where is this ad gonna run? I did an ad for Turkey one time, and I remember being like, "Oh, this is funny." Like, "Oh, this is funny." Okay. There's so many reasons why they choose who they choose, but they've also darkened the crap out of me to the point that I'm like nearly chocolate. And I'm like, you should have seen those makeup artists. Like, actually, it was a black woman who was the makeup artist, and she's sitting there like slamming on like tons of makeup so that my skin is so dark, and I'm like, oh my god.
And then it's green eyes popping out. Wow.
Well, I mean, and then it's funny because like there's like I'm. Like, if you saw the palms of my hands and the rest of me, it's like, I remember putting everything next to my face and being like, my God.
And who's gonna take it off?
Oh, yeah, they wipe it all down.
Oh, okay.
Sometimes you get really lucky and you have a shower at the studio when you have, like, something like that happen, but I can't find these curtains. Like, where did they go? Like, what did I do with them?
You had to sell it, put it there, put it in the fridge by accident, because you're talking to us.
Probably, right? Absent-minded.
Yeah.
God forbid. What was the rest of your day, Miss Nancy? You were kind of quiet most of the day. We weren't.
Yeah, it was
weird, Benjamin.
I had to things to do outdoors, so I was listening with my headphones on.
Oh, nice. Were you gardening today?
Oh no, bad weather. Unfortunately not.
Oh, what's in your garden?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Frozen.
I don't know. I have a feeling I know what's in her garden.
I flower everything. No. And then spring, and then all those colored flowers come out, and it's so nice to see it.
AJ, how are you feeling today?
I'm laying in bed, listening, getting ready for snoozy time. Snoozy time, yeah.
I should go to it's 5 o'clock here.
5 o'clock in the morning?
Yeah, I shift my days. I get up at 2 or 3. That's the same time as you get up. It's like 7 or 9 in the morning between. So, and that's then 2 o'clock for me. Yeah, because it's winter time. It's dark anyways. I can do nothing outside. So yeah, it doesn't matter that I stay in bed in the morning where everybody's already doing their stuff, but the whole world's already to bed. I mean, the whole world around me is. And they get up in a few hours and then I go to sleep.
So wait, so you're opposite, so you sleep at like in the morning times?
Yeah, and then I take my 8 hours sleep, 7, 8 hours. And it's like 2 o'clock, so 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, then I get up. And then if I get my hours of sleep, I don't mind. As soon as I get stay up this late and then I don't get that sleep, yeah, then it will, my body will reject it. Will protest, so to say.
Yeah, I have to get my sleep. I don't sleep. It's like the worst day ever for me.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, I need
How long can you sleep?
I sleep like 10 hours.
Then you have difficulty sleeping, well, it doesn't matter, you have 10 hours. I thought you stay awake or something.
I do. I sleep a lot. Every time I tell somebody that, they're like, oh, okay.
You probably need to rest.
Yeah, I love dreaming. It's great for me, and I have really awesome dreams and very detailed dreams. And I can actually go back, just like wake up from a dream and go back to the same dream.
Wow.
So yeah, so for me, it's like a whole other world when I'm sleeping, and it's just so cool.
You're like lucid dreaming then.
Yeah, exactly.
So vivid.
I do that sometimes. I'll wake up and then I'll go back to bed and then I'll be in the same dream.
Yeah, as long as it's not longer than 10 minutes.
Yeah, I've built like houses and towns and people and like it's like this whole group of people like thing that's in my dreams. It's only in my dreams, and I feel like it's like Inception almost. It's so cool, and I go back to the same places and. It's what the only thing that I have is when I'm stressed out about something, then I'll have like, someone's chasing me dreams or I didn't finish something I was supposed to do or I have to pack and I don't have the right stuff and those kind of dreams. That's like when I'm stressed, I'll get those. I don't know. I'm not scared about those type of dreams. But other than that.
Have you tried lucid dreaming?
Yeah. I started lucid dreaming about 10 years ago. Yeah, I did that.
I can't induce it. I don't know, it's happened to me like 2 or 3 times. That's crazy though. You control your dreams, what?
Yeah. What technique did you use? Did you use your hand technique?
I didn't use any technique. I just went to bed and like weird shit happened.
So one of the techniques, and I one that worked for me, there's probably others, but so you look at your hand before you go to bed and you say, when I see my hand, I know I'm dreaming. So when you start to dream, like drift off and stuff.
I don't wake up from those dreams, so that's the problem.
Well, it's more like I can control. It's more like I'm aware that I'm dreaming. Like, have you ever had a dream in a dream?
Yeah.
So it's similar to, it's similar to like a dream in a dream. However, because you're kind of aware you're dreaming in the first dream, but you're not sure you're dreaming. So it's very similar to that. So I kind of, in my mind, am slightly aware, but I'm still in REM sleep, that this is a dream. And then from that, I can basically move, like go do what I want to do. Like, all right, well, let's start flying. That'd be cool. Just like,
I cannot hold anything. I drop everything. They hand me something over. I feel it and it feels so heavy and it trips over. It doesn't matter what it is. I cannot hold it. Anything. It's so strange. And the feeling is so strange because I know that I'm dreaming, so I know somebody gave me something that's like very real. So I take it over, and as soon as I have it in my hand, I feel the heaviness, and I try to hold on, and I just can't, and it just falls, and I try again, but it doesn't work. And that's what I have in my dreams when I pick something up, or mostly if somebody gives me something, can you hold this? Of course, but I can't. Of course, it's like dropping it right away.
that's super specific and interesting. No, it's very interesting because when we dream, we are in a state of paralysis, and we shouldn't may be wrong about that, but what I'm understanding is that our bodies kind of, go into this paralysis state, and and I wonder if that has something to do with the fact that you're unable to, not move, but your body doesn't have that function that it needs to.
But only in dreams you can do anything. I cannot run. When I run, my legs are like I'm in sand, running in sand. It won't move, But I move it, but it's so heavy. So those are the two things I cannot. It's like running and holding something.
That's cool. That's like it,
And you don't have that?
No, I don't know. I don't know. I think everybody has their own like thing. Like mine are more like but actually mine are like in a hotel or something, and the walls are falling into the ocean. That's like a recurring thing. Yeah, like I'm just like I can't like there's nothing I can do about it because it's just I'm in this hotel room and it's just it's collapsing on itself and it's on like a pier and it's just like I'm just bracing myself that going down with the ship. That's like
Yes, you cannot stop it or something. Right, I can't stop it. And you have that whole feeling was with you. Right, exactly. That's why I needed 10 hours, because if I wake up from a dream like that, I need to go back to sleep and reset myself, like a better dream, because I don't want to wake up in that dream. I wake up and I'm glad I woke up and I go like, oh, luckily I didn't drop anything.
I definitely get to a point in dreaming where whether or not like I'll force myself out of the dream when it gets really bad.
Yeah.
Like I have to. Like there's not like I mean, but I don't know. It's been a couple of days. Like I don't remember my dreams recently at all. It's when they're like really bad, or if like someone's done me dirty. My dreams, but I'll remember them. You know.
Do they do back up your dream, or is it?
Like no, it's like you know how they joke all the time in all those little relationship reels, like you cheated on me in my dream.
Man, you got mad at your boyfriend because he
You can't mad at the man.
But I didn't do it. Yes, you did.
Yes, you did. Don't you know what you did? And then I remember, oh my gosh, I would have these dreams, and I would always like be like, dude, you threw this party. And there were all these other girls there, and you refused to acknowledge me. This was terrible. Last one was all like, oh, well, it was only a dream. You know what happens in dreams aren't real. And I was like, no, you did this. This is so wrong. I feel like you absolutely did this. And you're like, you need to just go back to bed. And I'd be like, no, you need to like rectify the situation. Why is this happening? And then eventually I'm sorry I did that to you.
You wear it down.
No, he would throw all these parties and there would be all these women. And I'd be like, I'm sorry, excuse me, what just happened here? Why are you like with these two all night? I guess they look very cute. That's fine, but that's not, no. Every single time, it's always him throwing a party at his place. Like, I feel like your apartment was filled. And it's New York, so, yeah.
That's horrible. Oh my God.
I would wake up, I would just...
I would make such a bad mood, like, oh, you did this.
Back him awake. Like, what is wrong with you?
He just opened his eyes in the morning. Good morning, Ralph. No, don't call me Ralph. Don't love me now.
He deserves it. It's fine.
Don't sweetie me up today.
No.
And it's more great when he asked, and with who did I do it? It's funny. The funniest dream I had actually recently was I had a dream that, and I swear this is the dream. So I'm on Clubhouse having a conversation with Benjamin.
No, you dreamed about Benjamin?
Arguing about Judaism. It was in my dream. That was. What did Benjamin say?
Wait, is it because I know that
I forgot about what Judaism is. And it was like it seeped into because we actually did have that conversation, and it seeped into my dream, the same scenario, and I'm like, I can't get rid of it. Could you change it? Yeah, it was a short one because the conversation didn't go long. But then, when I woke up from it, I was just like, oh, did I have a dream about that? So, yeah. And then Benjamin, yeah, but I
one time with all of this going on in the background, I think I felt like I was at like a Benjamin dinner party. I can't remember what the dream was.
You were at a Benjamin dinner party.
Well, yeah, if you fall asleep and everybody's talking in your ear, it can happen. So I fed into the dream.
Wait, I think it was at that dinner party too. Wait a minute.
Yeah, I know, right? AJ.
We were all there at the table.
Hi, Marshall. Hi, Caleb. Pro returns.
Hey guys, hey bro.
Hey, hi.
I was at a poker game. I had to play poker now. I'm back.
Ah,
You won? I won a couple of
take up some poker playing instead of hanging out in Clubhouse.
It's good. It's like the local dudes who I know, and like we play for a few hours. It's like nothing.
And you rip them off.
No, actually, I'm not leaving with the most. Actually, nope.
Wow. How high is your stake?
We buy in for 100. You can buy in anytime, whenever. If you list out. But my goal is always to have one buy-in, play the 3-4 hours, and if I make money, great. If not, fine.
Yeah.
And it's the cost of entertainment, you know. So
Yeah, that's right.
Tripled up for the night. I'm pretty happy. What's the conversation right now? What's going on?
AJ was dreaming about Benjamin and Asha was at the dinner.
We were sharing our dreams from. Apparently, I think Benjamin showed up. Pro might have been there.
In your real dreams?
In real dreams, when I fall asleep every once in a while, space ends up going on.
Yeah, and they both dream about Benjamin. He creeps
You know,
out.
Benjamin's a dreamy kind of guy.
I just want to make sure say that I don't dream about Benjamin.
I was not talking to you. I was talking to
That would be a little creepy. Yeah.
Yeah, dream about it. It will
But
happen.
yeah, I can try. I can put in a good college try tonight.
I've never been more
Good
close
old
to
college.
remembering my dreams. What if I dream about Benjamin, but I never remember? So that's like great.
And you dream it every day, you don't know.
That's right.
So when you wake up, you gotta write it down. It's fresh.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, there you go.
You don't want to write that down. How long are you back, bro? Have you listened for the whole time?
No, I'm just getting back. I was listening to you guys Babylon.
Yeah, because you were not here. So we all just made conversation.
The health.
Oh, yeah.
It's good.
He doesn't want to be here. He doesn't want to be here. Right, exactly. It was exact perfect timing. He was like, "Oh, did she stop talking about healthcare? Okay, I'm gonna come back in now."
Hey,
I
it was,
heard you talking about running and stuff, and I was like, that's my chance to go.
I'm gonna pretend I didn't hear that.
Are you a
I
runner?
didn't have to pretend. I didn't hear it.
I said I'm going to pretend that I didn't hear that.
Oh, I heard it. Just saying, I didn't have to use my imagination. I just completely didn't hear.
Here's my thing about running. Running is like a thing that you have to do to escape bears and Nazis. And I'm like, why run for fun?
I'm with you.
So you can run faster.
You can outrun bears, right? So you can outrun bears and Nazis, I get.
You can outrun the bears and the Nazis faster, right? This is why women choose the bear. And I mean, Nazis shouldn't be acknowledged anyways, so.
I mean, I just have to be faster than you.
Yeah, that's not gonna happen.
Well, let's leave here.
See, that's the fun part. That's when I get to be like, yeah, that's not gonna happen. It's okay.
if that is sure.
Oh,
I was a sprinter, so I just can't go longer than, a couple hundred meters. I'm all done.
You run with your mouth. Pepper. I mean it in a good way, man. Come on.
So you have no endurance. is
Mouth
what
and
you're
faster
saying.
than legs.
Couple hundred meters, and you leave you in the back,
Yes,
and then I'll just carry on with the dog.
Yep, that's okay. AJ and I, we know what you were saying. You have no endurance. It's all right.
That's right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, Asha?
Miss Nancy knows what we mean. Yeah.
I mean, I could go a slow 5 miles.
Yeah, you don't rap that slow.
I rap slow.
Can we get a slow
You
jam?
rap slow. Why did you rap
Slow
slow?
jam the news.
Slow jam the
The new song that I don't
Remember
know.
they had Barack Obama slow jam the news?
Yeah.
if you keep the mouth running, it's good.
Oh shit, are we reverting back to 12-year-olds at this point?
Yeah. That's reaction from him.
Yeah, exactly. We'll put Crow in the hot seat.
I fully expected to hear all that.
Not, or do you?
No, I did.
You didn't?
I did.
We together, bro? Oh my goodness.
Oh my, oh my.
But apparently, we still entertain people in the room. Oh, and they're all welcome to stay, but nobody comes on stage.
Oh, you know what? I forgot completely to do my laundry and wash my scrapes. F me.
Now what? You have a dryer?
No, I have it all. I just didn't. I didn't wash my scrubs for the morning.
Oh, morning. Are there hospitals that like give you choices? I just only see this on TV, so.
Oh, it's fine. If you work in the OR,
Like, you
Yeah,
say
it's
that I
fine.
only see it on TV. They can really say that. Yeah, no, they stick it in this machine and it alters and these stripes come out. And it's television.
No. It's totally true. It's totally true. Like that. Okay, yeah, that happens. Yeah, that's totally true. Don't sweat it. You're not wrong. That's if you work in the OR. So if you are part of the OR team, if you're like any part of the OR team, then you go through the scrub machine because you have like so at one of the other hospital systems that I'm at, if you go and you're in the OR and you're assigned in the OR for the day, then you have to go into the locker room first, change out your clothes, and you have to pick up from the scrub machine. And you put those scrubs on, and those are the scrubs that you wear for your shift. And when you get out, then you change back into your clothes and you throw the old scrubs into the machine to be sanitized, disinfected, and used the next day.
Like everything. Yeah, how you say it? Instruments that they work with?
Well, that's different. That's in a different part of the OR.
Yeah, I know, but do that.
Yeah, but everything is, yeah. That's what the surgical techs do.
Yeah.
So there's, and if you hear about a nurse who's like one of the OR nurses, like that's not taught in nursing school. It's actually like a separate training that has to be done after you get your license. So, if you hear about any perioperative nurses, that's what they did.
Yeah, especially in specific. You don't put it on the right place.
And PAs learn 3 years worth of timing, and they work under the physicians or next to the physicians, and so that's the physician assistants here in the U.S. And then they can specialize into any unit, but they can switch out of their units and go to another one because they've been trained in all of them.
I know that the one who has to clean it gets a full training too. And then also because they have to put it in those, on that tablet or whatever it is that they put it on, it has to be in a certain order. Because the next day when you have a surgeon operate somebody, then it must not lay like a fork, a knife, and a spoon, like that. It has to be in a certain order. Otherwise, when you just put it there, it would be a mess for the surgery. For the one who's going to do the surgery.
Scalpel, please.
Yeah, and then you take a fork.
Yeah, you're right. For any surgeon, like each surgeon has a different way that they like their trays arranged and things like that. Absolutely.
Yeah, trays, yeah.
One of my favorite lines from any movie ever was from Rushmore, which is one of the best movies ever, where they're having dinner and the guy who is dating the girl, the other guy, the young guy doesn't like, came from movie. What a crazy. Yes, it's fun. It is the best. Like the best. I think it might be the best movie ever. Partly because that's Bill Murray. So like, I don't think the greatest movie ever can't have Bill Murray.
Oh, Bill Murray is great.
Sometimes I saw where Bill Murray movies don't exactly age well, but the movies that come in later in his career are pretty cool.
Yeah.
And it's not a Bill Murray movie. It's Wes Anderson. That's kind of key. And Olivia, what's her name? Olivia Williams. She's awesome.
Did you see the most recent, and actually Bill Murray was in it, with Wes Anderson, Atomic something, I think. I can't remember the name. But they were going on a trip to see the hole, the crater hole that the asteroid.
It's the asteroid. I love Wes Anderson.
I don't think you're making it hear you. Can't hear you. He's getting out of the car, I guess.
So what are we trying to figure out?
The movie
Just
Asteroid.
walking down the street, actually.
So what do you love that asteroid?
I like the really weird color palette. It's just
Yeah.
and that was I think it was some kind of like nod to Technicolor or something, but I just I like it. I like that weird pacing, and I love the Murray in it. And I love Wes Anderson has like these go-to actors. I love all that shit. What the hell? I just came back in the room. Why am I talking?
Yeah, man, we talked the whole time.
I just finished dinner and I drank a bunch of wine. Walking around my block.
So you can't talk. That's the thing. But you cannot think and talk.
I can think or I can talk. I cannot think. That's a good. Or
Get it?
I wanted to talk to Caleb about.
Oh, I was like talking and unmute. I don't know. I'm not talking over and over. Who knows? Some people will come back.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently there's been an anti-feminism room all day
Where?
here on this thing.
An anti-feminism.
I forget. Okay, let me see. What does it say? I'm going to go to the hallway, right? That's the right word for hallway.
Imagine.
It says, has feminism helped or hurt modern women? Research purposes has. Do women ask for too much? We have the Trump crisis and when he doesn't leave. That's our title. The gas station. I don't even know what any of this stuff is. I don't get it. Like, literally, it's funny because, like, next to none of the rooms, I like being in art here, I'm not here. And then Ted's room, and, like, that's about it. I don't have any. I just went downstairs to put the laundry in to bring the laundry down. Lord help me.
You see? You can do it.
It's already 11:30. I should have been sleeping.
These
I took a nap. These are the dangers of feminism. Forget how to do laundry. You can't do the laundry for the man. All the men.
If I can only admit how many loads of laundry I put in and took out just today. This was cleaning day.
Oh, you should tell us next time so that I'm more inspired to do my laundry and not forget that my scrubs are dirty. I would have appreciated it. This is all your fault, Kiro.
Oh, are they?
Oh, are they?
Oh my god, I've been waiting for my whole life to say that.
I gave you that opportunity, you know. That was great. I don't want to dry my jeans. Last time they shrunk. These are my favorite jeans.
my jeans, when I watch them, my jeans, they are too short for like, I'm sorry, they're too tight, like way too, and I'm like, I'm kind of fat ass. And then for like 10 minutes, and then they're like, they fit great for like an hour, and then they're like way too fucking loose. Like it happens.
I'm sure your wife appreciates it when they fall off your bum like that. Sometimes that's a pretty picture. No? I don't know. Okay, I was trying to look at positive.
It's nice. I would think it's true.
It's nice.
You know, I only have one pair of jeans at a time. Is that weird? Like, I was thinking about buying a new pair of jeans, and I'm like, wait, these aren't quite done yet. And
it doesn't have to be
I
done.
don't have more than one pair of jeans. That's allowable, right? Like I don't.
Yeah. I have 10 or 20, I don't know.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I don't know. I really like, if it still works, I get another pair, so the other one will work longer. You know? I just change and then I can keep it.
Oh, an aspiration for me. I need to start staggering my jeans.
Yeah. I think that would be a good idea.
Seems excessive to me somehow, but.
No, I don't know. I'm not the person to ask. I have too many clothes.
Here's the thing, when a pair of jeans are like dialed in and they're comfortable, those are the only pair I want. Until they rip or something stupid, and then I'm like, okay, that other pair.
Yeah. Then it's still new again.
You'll have to do, and then a week later I'm like, these are my favorite jeans ever.
Yeah, two at a time, same time. Hey, well,
Thanks, Ian. Yeah, my ex literally lived in this one pair of jeans, and all he would ever say is like, I've had these jeans since college. And he was like in his 40s, and he was like just so proud of the fact that I've been since college. I still fit into these. It's like, okay.
you talk about jeans and 3 men come on stage. That's really ridiculous.
That's me. I want to know mine.
Peculiar.
I didn't tell anybody that I was wearing my favorite jeans for my trip this week.
What I learned in our earlier room was that,
No.
oh shit, methyl blue was the original dye for jeans.
Methylene blue.
Methylene blue, thank you. That was like the Levi, that was the original blue dye.
Attributed to metabolic syndrome, saying
Yeah, Levi.
alleviating
I remember.
mitochondrial DNA.
Oh, yeah.
But you can trust me because I'm a nurse.
Yeah. It's okay.
We had Levi's too, now I was wearing it.
From what I
Oh, it is, Miguel. It is. I was being sarcastic.
that was weird. I don't know. But
It's not doing anything for you. Please don't take methylene blue.
Wait. The comment might have been more big on.
yeah, it was on the jeans. It wasn't on the drug. It was the original. I went to something, I don't know how, but it had the history of Levi jeans, and they used indigo glue.
Indigo.
Yeah,
Is
indigo.
that just not another word for?
It's a tincture. It's natural indigo. It's natural indigo. Not
Wow,
indigo.
you know what? That sounds expensive. I bet methylene blue is a cheap substitute. I'm making up history on go here, but you know why not?
But you're saying it with such confidence that
Yeah, no,
you
that's
should
not
doubt
bad.
it.
It's true.
But I was their best.
You sound weird.
I feel weird.
Yeah, you sound weird too. You sound how you feel. It's funny though. It's funny.
I feel good actually, but I do feel weird. I feel a little weird.
That's good. Why not?
I see Saturn low on the western sky, and I see Orion to my left, and Jupiter's in the air. It's a
On the left is where? On the north side.
Well, you could guess what
I
I
wish
said.
there was an Excel sign to see the constellation.
It's a lovely
answer is I can take a picture of the Orion.
Self-professed fish thing.
Take a picture of Orion.
Okay, of what?
Of the Orion, you can see it clear because that was the best time.
Oh, and you, that's nice, because I can't go outside here, it's too cold.
I have the
I
Orion.
miss looking at the sky like that.
Orion for me should be more western. She taking a picture.
I don't understand how I acquire so many dishes like all the time. I don't know, it's one person, how do I have so many dishes all day?
Oh, don't speak about dishes. When I do my dishes, it's like I have the whole family. It's not. It's only me and my 4 bitches.
Those bitches.
And they eat. My goodness.
Bitches. Sorry. Okay. Hey, Elliot, welcome back.
Wait, did you just say?
Yeah,
I said 3 bitches.
that's what Miss Nancy said, and then
I
I
said 3, not 4.
Okay, okay.
I thought you said 4.
Well, I guess you got that's a little less aggressive, but still, you said 3.
Yeah, my includes my 3 ladies. I can say lady. I can say rebels. Sometimes I say
It's
bitch.
all good. Just it confused me a little bit.
When they're hissing to each other, I call them bitches.
I can be at home for my 2 bitches, and I will definitely be talking about my dogs and not my wife and daughter. 100%.
Oh
Never make
my.
that mistake. But I also would never say that. Because I don't know, it's a weird word.
No, it's a funny word because it's like a cute word, but you know what they do. When they hiss at each other and they look at me like that, man, they're really like, are 2 bitches who's hissing.
Yeah, cats are more bitchy than dogs. Like, what's up with that? Like, why?
They are bitching to each other. You know, like women do.
You said it, not me.
You thought it. No. I'm just saying.
I'm just saying, I'm trying to take some photos of Ryan.
Yeah. Did you work? Did it work out?
I'm trying to get this.
I think that it works.
I'm a little.
Do you have an iPhone?
I do.
Yeah.
And a brand new one.
Oh, yeah. Then it will, you know what you can do that works better with me? Do as if you take a live photo, put that option on. Then what it does is it is adjusting, right? But then you go in the photo and you press on that you want to change it, and then it says live. You press on live, then it's like a little movie, and then you swipe it from left to right and see what's the best outcome. And that is what you choose as the front image, and then you have the best of the whole thing. If it doesn't work instantly like one picture frame, this is like he's taking a few frames, and then you can choose the best of it. So like for, and then you can change because otherwise you have one image and that's it. And if you use the live version, the live option, then you have like several options to choose from. Huh? What?
I think you just did an app.
Yeah, if he has an iPhone, the latest iPhone, it's already on the phone. I mean, what kind of phone you have is from iPhone 12 or not, or sooner. I'm not sure. But live pictures is always not sure. But then you can change it. So, take the best of it from the shots that it took. So it takes a frame.
I would like to recommend that if you ever go to a small, tiny, local owned shop and they create a pumpkin chocolate chip bread, best things I've had in a long time.
You just told about a few days ago.
I know, but I'm telling you about it again. I'm telling you about it again because it's really that good.
Yeah.
Should I send you a recipe if I find it?
Yeah.
There.
All right, Miguel.
Can I ask you a
Go ahead.
question? Can I ask you a question? I wasn't looking, sorry. My brain's kind of.
You're okay.
You're a biologist and microbiologist. You're a researcher in biology. And today, I'm taking a pharmacology class. They mentioned monoclonal antibodies, right? As part of biosimilarity, right? And then she mentioned that the teacher was like, she thinks that's going to be the thing that cures cancer. What's your thoughts on that?
No, monoclonal antibodies were one of the first line defense, like one of the first line biologics that were used to treat COVID infections early in the pandemic. Yeah, so biologic that treats COVID infections earlier in the pandemic, right? So before we had vaccines, we had monoclonal antibodies. So what they did was they were able to help the symptoms of COVID-19, right? They are functional and they work because they're targeting a specific antibody that is on the antigen presenting surface of the virus, right? Does that make sense?
Right. But
Okay.
correct me if I'm wrong. They can make antibody and monoclonal antibodies like anything for cancer.
Yeah. So what's more appropriate? I mean, I'm sure you're a professor and I'm gonna have some words about this. But what's more appropriate is something like CAR T cell therapy or the mRNA technology and the basis for mRNA technology and the platform that's used in order to specifically target anything that has an antibody presence. Does that make sense? Antigen presenting presence. Does that make sense? Okay. It's specificity oriented, right?
Right.
Yes, the monoclonals are good. The vaccine was better. And we have antivirals and retrovirals, right? So, So with like things like Paxlovid or any type of flu retroviral, like why is the name eluding me right now? It's such an obvious antiviral too. Everybody has it.
What?
The retroviral for a flu infection. The one that everybody for like my brain is having a little bit of a frack right now.
No, you're doing your laundry at the same time.
Well, I put that in. I did. Thanks, Nancy. Apparently, I can't do my laundry and think of.
So is this something like remdesivir or something where that?
No, that's part of that was part of the therapy. Remdesivir was one of the monoclonal antibody therapies. Regeneron was another, but that was a monoclonal. Yeah, no, I'm thinking of like a specific one that everybody uses, for flu, and it's prescribed all the time. And it's Tamiflu. Thank you. I was like, I could like see the word in my head, but not see it. I appreciate that. Thank you. Wow, that was bad.
It was not bad.
No, but it was bad. I couldn't remember it.
You do it on things today already.
Wow. Miguel, how was that? Did you end up getting the flashcard set that I used for college? Is it helpful? Isn't it like I thought it was really helpful.
Yeah,
I actually.
The cool thing is it breaks it down to cardiovascular, nervous, musculoskeletal, drugs and stuff. And now I can pull different drugs that I'm going to use for my class. We don't learn every drug. We learn the most ones that we're going to use as nurses, and then build from there. But I'm in my first week, and she just mentioned monoclonal, and she was like, on a side note, take it from Drew, I think that monoclonal cancer therapy is going to be what cures cancer, eventually, once we get it right. And, she's just a nurse instructor, and she's not up to 100% speed. I asked you, that's what you're in the business of now, you're the cutting edge of research. So I was asking if monoclonal rings a bell. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, no, monoclonals are good. They're good first base therapy when you don't have anything else. I don't feel in any mechanism of action, that monoclonals would be what's going to break down cancer and cure it. I don't feel that way. I think that actual gene therapy would be what actually cures, cancer. We have preventative therapies, right? Like so the HPV vaccine, Gardasil vaccine that prevents human papillomavirus. That is it's not a cancer therapy, but it's a prevention because it prevents anal, oral, throat, vaginal, cervical, anal, I already mentioned anal, cancer for anyone who's actually sexually active, right? Like, so the majority of people who are sexually active are infected with HPV. About 75% of people, and prior to the studies, longitudinal studies that have now shown that anybody who got the HPV vaccine has a zero indication rate of cancer for cervical cancer, right? So there's proof that it prevents cancer.
I like that you led and ended with anal.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Like the gutter on your ass. Just go for it. I just read a headline. This would be a fun headline to talk about before we get the article. Now, Machado presented Trump with her Nobel Peace Prize. We discussed this in the article.
I saw that notification pop up earlier, but we were in the middle of the Brown case.
Brown, white,
Yellow, green, blue, purple, brown.
Hero, I think that was unfortunate, and the fact that Trump took it, a good leader would have said, you know what, thank you very much, but I can't accept it because I was giving it to you. But no, that cocksucker decides he wants to take it,
He wants to pretend that he's worthy of anything. Like, he just needs to spread his word well. He knows he's not. So he had to make him a fake.
With the FIFA Nobel Peace.
I hate this thing, but I wake up every morning, first thing I grab my phone is look at NBC for a headline that the old man had a heart attack. But man, it hasn't happened yet. And on that day, it'll be a good day. That's all I can say.
And that rhymed. And we appreciate your rhyme and your rhyming abilities, especially in this room.
That's humor image.
It's true. It's a good day.
So I missed the anal.
don't mention it. You missed everything.
Anal bookends. That's what I was trying to say.
And I think that's
much better than Bruno.
Right in the middle.
12-year-olds. All of you can't even have a serious conversation about
Here,
I'm the one who did it.
Here, I got a question for you.
Did it.
Here,
Okay.
What was it?
Yeah.
What was in the middle of anal bookends? What was in between those anal bookends? Here,
No, it was anal all the way through.
there was nothing in between the anal.
Okay. Fuck. You know, make me say it. There was anal. There was that.
Meat of the
There
conversation.
was
What was the meat of the conversation between the anal?
okay, I have to say, anal caught my attention and I didn't really absorb the rest. Oh wow. God, that's bad. I'm embarrassed, but that's the truth.
You're bad, but that's
Way more embarrassed than now.
you're bad, but this photo, this PTR, this Orion that I see,
Oh, you did
that is
Orion.
freaking gorgeous.
I actually did a little.
Oh, no.
That is
Yeah.
stunning.
Here,
Oh, you did too.
I would take that sitting down.
That is Mr. Orion. With his dog.
Thank you, hero. And
I
now
would
it
take that
starts.
sitting down.
If you zoom in, everything's round. Have you seen it?
Speaking around, what happened to Flat Earth 10?
Yeah, it's round.
So his work is done.
Yeah.
Speaking of what being done,
Dr. Church.
But you did the talking, pro. I mean, We entertain everybody. Now it's your turn.
I thought you pushed back today, bro. It was particularly good.
Oh, okay. What was I pushing back on? On you?
Everything Benjamin ever said.
That's what I think.
Oh, okay. Nice.
Okay.
Nice. I mean, that's like workbench. I thought it was on somebody else.
Like what?
You made it sound good. It's not.
How he's awake? He hasn't said anything, bro. Must have awakened. But you're quiet. What's the matter?
Who me?
He probably should be sleeping, is most likely the matter.
I don't fully remember that song. What's the matter, baby? Good song. Oh, and Alan Foley was the one who sang the real song, like from Paradise and Dashboard Light from Meatloaf, and it was Alan Foley who sang, and not the woman who was on stage.
So now you got the Trump. I found there gone.
Crimsonite on stage. Welcome.
Trump looks like he's getting a little work below the belt there. Looks like he had a little anal bookends going on.
Don't tell me why. Why is that a thing now? Why?
But you were not done talking, right? Or did you?
I'm good about the HPV vaccine. Apparently, the only thing anybody remembers from that lecture is
I guess they're only saying anal, so yeah.
anal.
And then what about the rest?
Yeah, they have absolutely enough of it.
I have a hard time ever calling attention to the anal thing. It's a serious topic, which is not a joking matter.
Sorry, I could have talked about the anal sphincter. I could have talked about all sorts of things, but no. What, Benjamin?
Oh, sorry.
Oh. Well, it's a good job here, Lou. I like the picture. Thank you. And you have really lots of stars in the sky. When I see your picture there, that's not what I see here. I see a bit around where I am, but not that much as you have on this picture.
Kito, where are you located again that you get such a beautiful night sky?
Apply some filters and some contrast and some stuff like that.
Yeah, to get it a little bit too.
But you had to start with something that was decent. I forget. Can you give me a general response again? Are you in the Midwest?
Wait, what? No. Come on.
I forget. You have to remind me if you're willing to. You don't have to. But I'm so jealous. I wish I could go outside right now and see the stars. It's probably one of my favorite things to do as
I
a
always find it weird on a social media app when it's audio where you say you don't have to. And of course, he doesn't have to. It's like,
Well, I mean, I think some people don't understand that specific statement. Obviously, you don't have to. You don't have to do anything. This isn't a courtroom of law. This definitely isn't my doctor's office or a hospital setting. So, by all means, here we go. More about the ice shooting. But you know, some people want to make it about, oh, I have to. Why am I responding? All right. Live updates. Newly released records detail chaos during fatal ice shooting in Minneapolis. Reports from the city's police and fire departments show that Renee Good, who was killed by an ICE agent last week, was found with 2 gunshot wounds to her chest and 1 to her forearm. Thank you, because everybody has been saying there have been 3 shots to her head, and I'm like, where did you confirm that? And it bothered the goddamn Jesus out of me. Everybody kept saying that, and I'm like, we have nothing about that. So, 2 gunshot wounds to her chest and 1 to her forearm. Here's the latest. Newly released records from the Minneapolis police and fire departments detailed the chaotic moments that unfolded after a federal agent fatally shot Renee Good, who was found in her vehicle with 2 gunshot wounds to her chest and another to her forearm. The responders found Ms. Good not breathing and with an irregular pulse. Oh. When they arrived at her Honda SUV on January 7th, according to one of the reports. She also had a possible gunshot wound to the left side of her head. By the time there could to a hospital, the report said. The details revealed in incident reports from the Minneapolis Police and Fire Departments and 911 call logs obtained by the New York Times sketched out the shock and fear of the bystanders who practically called for help after the agent from Immigration and Customs Enforcement opened fire. One of the calls was made by an ICE agent, the transcripts showed. The federal government has defended the ICE agent who shot Ms. Good, saying he acted in self-defense, etc., etc. I'm going to skip. The shooting set off a week of intense protests, prompting Governor Tim Walz to plead for her peaceful demonstration. Shooting, we already know about this. Ms. Good was labeled a domestic terrorist by Trump aides, while Steve Miller described the protests as an insurgency. Oh, so now they can call it an insurrection. Sorry. Carolyn Levitt, the White House press secretary, said Mr. Trump's threats to invoke the Insurrection Act were a warning to Democrats. Here's what we're covering. Agents' authority when a federal agent. Experts said the answer is not so simple. While Ms. Good was compelled to follow a lawful order, it is not clear whether immigration agents on the scene were acting within their authority. Legal action. Lawyers representing the family of Ms. Good, a 37-year-old poet, said on Thursday that they anticipate taking legal action against the federal government and have officials preserve all possible evidence. They earlier announced that they would investigate Ms. Good's killing and described her as a mother of three and a person of faith. A second shooting, Julio Cesar Sosa Celis, who entered the United States in 2022, was taken into custody after being shot in the leg by a federal agent on Wednesday, along with two other men. Federal officials accused them of assaulting an agent with a shovel and a broom. A federal spokesperson said Mr. Sosa Celis was a Venezuelan national who was in the
Model 3 is it?
Yeah, I guess I'm not really sure if it hits the radar. I know it globally has hit the radar. A reminder that everyone hates America.
They don't hate America, they hate Trump. And Trump is America. Yeah.
Well, 50% of those people, that idiots, for lack of a better word, voted for him. That's the fucking dumb thing. Or close to it. Even 40%, man, makes us a fucking bad country, dude. That's a lot of fucking people that have fear and hate in their minds.
Yeah.
Okay, well, Cheryl has put into the chat research a couple of opinion polls that show us that yes, we hate America, stop coping. Well, I invited you up, by all means. 50% of the voters and a lot of people did not vote. No one's discounting the fact that America isn't being well received around the world. It's fine. Hi, Jarl.
No, I think you guys are chill. I think this room's actually chill. I'm just kind of, gotta poke the bear a bit, annoy the Americans a little bit, but this room I know is chill.
Are you Canadian?
You couldn't tell that. Definitely.
I mean, I like to verify, you know, why not? Number one.
The only obvious thing he didn't say was sorry.
Well, it's good to have you up on stage. Like, I just figured,
Or Canada.
I just wasn't sure where you were from until I looked at your PTR. Hugo's offended. Okay, thanks, Hugo. Good to know.
Canada, Gerald. East, West, Central.
I'm from Canada, Montreal.
Montreal, okay. The Frenchies. No, that's Quebec, sorry. Quebec.
No, you're right. You're absolutely right. I'm French.
No, like,
French speaking Canadian.
the only reason I say that, Gerald, is because I used to have a Canadian cyclist come live with me in the winter years ago. And, like, you know, I had a 4-bedroom home and I'd have like 2 guys from Ottawa and then 1 guy from like Saskatchewan and then 1 guy from Quebec, and they call him the French. He always behind his back. So it's not good me. Anybody that's from Quebec or Montreal, I call Frenchies.
Yeah, no, that's the blue flag in my PTR, right? Yes, we love our American neighbors very much. We're just a little bit mad.
Oh, no, you don't have to. That's fine.
Okay, thank you.
I'd be mad at us too if I was Canadian and Trump kept saying we're going to annex you or whatever. Like, I get it. That's all right. It's a valid feeling.
Hey, Gerald, did you watch the Grand Prix de Montreal this year? Cycling race?
I knew it happened, but I didn't watch it. No.
You don't watch cycling. Dude, it was like, is that like the biggest event you have every year? You have Formula One, don't you?
Hockey's the only one that we had this year.
Well, that's like Cena. We're talking like once a year event. Like Grand Prix de Montreal cycling race, I think like everybody goes. It's only once a year.
Yeah, it's big. I don't know the statistics, but yeah, it's big.
Hero, by the way, your Orion is much smaller than mine. My Orion is like massive.
Personal.
I was really about to say, Miss Nancy, I don't know if we should be commenting on the size of Hugo's Orion.
I'm not sure the size doesn't matter, but
I don't know. I mean, for anybody who is very focused on anal bookends, I would be quite worried about the sizing.
I did open myself up for that one, didn't I? I myself.
I had to. I couldn't help it. Apologies to everyone else who wasn't in the room at the time.
Hey, Asha, you're
Anal bookends is my favorite Simon and Garfunkel album.
you're a specialist in medicine. You know, do you think that Old Orange turd, or do you think they're giving him some kind of like something for like dementia or to increase his ability for his brain to function better? Do you think any of that's happening?
I wouldn't be surprised if it was. I mean, he has venous insufficiency, and that was obvious to anyone in the medical field. Just even people who just started their medical journeys, right? Like that. It's an indication of CHF, right?
Yeah.
So exactly, right? Like you're going through school, so you and I will have more conversations as we do it, right? So yeah, I mean, it's like one of the first things you learn. So it's like the emperor has no clothes. We all know. Like, I know that I should be putting myself in compression boots right now and going through this module and learning it, and I have to be up in the morning. Oh gosh, I don't know. I should not have taken a nap this afternoon, but I really needed the nap. Not off the little
This afternoon.
My nap, the snap this afternoon. Yeah, I don't know. Did I say that wrong?
No, you're tired.
Hi.
You said it. Put it all jump.
Hi, Christina. We have a new Christina person. Hello.
Christina,
Hi, guys.
I invited you because I thought you had something to say, so maybe better to say those.
Oh, I was just in the chat saying, I'm sure that he's getting whatever he needs to be keeping his eyelids open at this point.
Yeah, well. Honestly, sometimes I see 80-year-olds that are in the best shape of like, sometimes I'm just shocked at some of the patients we have because they've taken care of themselves and they're aging so freaking well. Like the other day, there was like I don't want to say the other day, but like, you know, I've seen patients who are in their 70s and they are handsome, full hair, silver fox men who are super active, you know, like they're not on like hormone replacement therapy, they don't take extra testosterone or anything. They've just really taken care of themselves as like lifelong athletes.
I just want to say, are they gay?
I don't believe this man.
I don't mean
Not
to
double check.
away, but they.
No. This, I mean, he was handsome. All right, like I mean, he was handsome.
Wow.
And yeah, I mean, there are male models who are still modeling at that age too, right?
Oh,
Like,
yeah,
I mean, we have some very handsome men.
Yeah.
But anyways, sorry.
Very handsome. Yeah. Oh, yeah. We had so handsome.
However,
I got the message. They're very handsome.
just like Crimsonite hair, you see how handsome his penis is?
Not yet. I haven't seen it.
Oh, look, he's got something going on there. Yeah.
Probably it's not him.
I know, but that's okay.
But yeah, he's cute. Yeah.
John, do they have kids? The people. Okay, look, I was not in the chart long enough to be able to like verify his social tendencies or whether or not he was, you know, into the same sex or anything. Like, I did not care to qualify any of it. I can acknowledge very handsome, very fit, very in shape man.
Please respect
very well.
HIPAA requirements.
Oh, I got you. That's fine. No names, no identifying factors, no other aspects of his, you know, health and history. No, nothing. No history of present illness. No reason why he was one of our patients. No, got nothing.
Because this
But,
could have been me, right? That's what we're saying.
Okay, I mean, you know, technically, if anybody really wanted to think about it, sure, why not? However, all of us definitely got back and we were like, did you see that man? That I can acknowledge. Almost feels like one of the ortho residents that I used to work with. That man was handsome. I think every girl just couldn't focus when he would show up for a consult. Every single, what you see on Grey's Anatomy is very real.
Yeah.
Very
But
real.
all focus on that one guy.
He did not age well, though. I'm just gonna say. He did
Yeah.
not age well. He got bald and he has a pot belly. I'm sad because
Still better than me. This is great. Actually, I'm not.
why are you asking these things, Joseph? Do they have kids? Why would it matter if they have
We're
kids?
talking about that somebody's handsome. I can tell if he has kids or not.
I know, right? Like, what their hand is raised. I don't care to bring them up right now.
No.
Anyways, Christina, come on up and hang out with us. Tell us how you feel about the chart price. You can remain healthy and raise children.
Not me, but have kids, you're probably not patient because you're stressed out because of the kids, and that kind of thing.
It all goes downhill. I can attest to that.
I cannot just speak on that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, not me either. I do everything to make sure that I'm not getting pregnant.
Oh yeah, I did too.
What is the crisis?
Totally understand it, John. Totally understand it. What is the Trump crisis? Who's asking?
Your handsome guy, the cute guy.
He had a cute guy for a second, but now he is the crimson plate.
That was the actor from
Yeah.
Shades of Grey.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
They when they did a social experiment, asked men and women to select the face or body of someone of their own sex that they believe the opposite sex would find most attractive. The women selected him as being most attractive face, whereas men selected that soccer player that's married to the Spice Girl, as who they would have thought the women would have selected as most ideal face.
Yeah.
That's just,
What happened?
Who is that?
Wait,
Oh,
so,
Mom.
wait, what? Wait, so women
Put the picture
like
of the girl up.
girly men and men like men. Wait, what's the lesson here? David Beckham is the person you're referring to, I think. And
Oh,
I thought
okay.
he is a sexy man. Like, what? Do you ladies not agree?
David Beckham is.
Where's the
It's
divide?
fine.
I'm confused.
He's incredibly hot. He's also incredibly short.
Well, that's a good thing.
Is he short? I didn't
The
know.
ball's on the ground, so
Yeah, he's short.
there's
He
no
can't be
advantage to being tall.
taller.
No, he's not a midget.
Bro likes to argue against this. He just left, I guess. But damn it, should I go to bed or do I do this module? I'll
So
do
if
one.
you guys keep talking, you can do the module.
You probably won't
I'm
ever
gonna
regret not going to bed. You probably regret not doing the module.
Yeah, I gotta do it. We're gonna get mad at me. Thanks, John. Appreciate you. Alright, we'll bring him up. You guys, I'm bringing him up. I'm not gonna hang out for it. Senior mechanical design engineer in chip assembly at Intel. Ooh, he knows things.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
Tinker. He's a tinker. John.
What's a tinker?
Pretend. Yeah. Hi, welcome.
Tinker.
How is it being sent at home?
Oh, it's fine.
I just say when you have kids,
You age poorly.
same as the case. It's more about time. You, since I know that's a year, but you get up at 5 and I just work straight for getting ready, breakfast, lunch, get up kids. My wife doesn't get ready, I do everything else. And then I go to work or eat the night out, come home, dinner, sleep. There's no room for anything. It's just like, I'm just saying, kids.
Yeah.
No time. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, that's true.
And stress.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Are you a tinker? John, are you a tinker? Like a tinker from one of those actual things books.
Tinker or a
No, a tinkerer means that he tinkers with items. You guys, come on, reading comprehension. Benjamin is also a tinkerer. This is why
I
he's
mean, there's
excited.
the guy that pees in the corner, and there's the guy who so the distinction matters.
No,
You say tinker? It's like uncle.
like
Tinky.
tinkle.
Give me this item.
No. It's hero is the king tinkle, and tinkle is to pee, and a tinkler, which he's
Spear. Spear. Somebody beats.
More tinkers. More tinkers. The single
for tinkers and tinkerers.
I might have gotten Chica Taylor?
Tinker Taylor.
A Taylor Tinker.
Are you a soldier?
Are you a spy?
Just checking.
Checking the boxes, that's all.
No, it's just need the profile thing. I think we're not talking about. But here's the
I mean, if you were a
important
spy,
thing,
you could not say, I'm not a spy. That's a rule.
That's a rule. That's the first rule. Come on, the first rule.
And be honest.
Not big.
We want to be very careful not to ask you where you're from or where your accent is from.
He said Europe.
But the only questions remaining are you a Tinker, Taylor, soldier, or spy? Then we know everybody that we can have a conversation.
Are you being Tinker? Spy.
I'm Tinker. From the U.S. for sure. You gotta look up Tinker. Tinker's a lost art. We can bring it back.
Yeah, you sound awake, Benjamin. You look it up and read for us what is Tinker.
Yeah, it's actually the more
For the record, I think I got Tinker wrong. But
Yeah, me too. I'm more at your timeline, I guess.
I don't mind sharing. That doesn't.
Oh, you there?
Yeah.
Me too.
Oh, you know.
You're the second one I talked to.
Yeah. Living in California.
Oh, that's far away.
You're in Canada or something.
I'm in North Carolina.
Tinker is somebody who travels from place to place and mends. It's kind of a utensil to read fancy books. Of course. It's like a legal occupation. But people believe.
I didn't understand it. Can you repeat that? Is it Tinker who's traveled a lot and then?
Just the night interview. They travel. They come bring out.
Yeah, you're breaking up. I still don't understand it.
I think they're kind of like gypsies.
Like that, okay.
They travel place to place.
And I think that the question was, are you an expert?
Sharpen your scissors, for example, or sharpen your knives. Repair your pants. If I was today, I work for Phillips. Like shave a tinker is essentially one who tinkers.
I just say, gypsy is not, that term is not going to go well here if there's any white women in the crowd. But
That's right. Roma.
Yeah.
There's any wolf white. Like from the Balkans, and they always refer to anyone who basically not like basically white, you know, and whatnot, like good gypsies kind of thing, or like socioeconomically not good. So maybe I'm just taking that for that.
And don't they pay tax?
Yeah,
Because they live in a home on wheels.
exactly.
But they don't. Big bungalows on wheels, but they never travel with it. You cannot. But they still don't pay tax for it.
I think it sucks. I still pay tax in the U.S. dollars. The fun of being a U.S. citizen, you can never get out of paying taxes.
unless you live in Puerto Rico, apparently, but
Yeah, technically full citizens, but I'm not sure like a fully citizen. I don't know. It's weird.
So,
Yeah,
I heard this. So I had a neighbor who this story ended tragically, but there's this whole thing about like I could move to Puerto Rico and I have to pay taxes, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure you have to pay taxes wherever. And there's this, but there is a special case for Puerto Rico. I don't totally understand.
There is. Yes, you're correct. I'm Puerto Rican, and I looked into it to go back because I had property there. So yes, there is I forget the form that you do, but there's a way that you do it. You basically don't have to pay taxes, federal taxes again.
struggling when there was some sort of storm or something,
Maria.
and she couldn't get any building supplies. Like she had damage and she couldn't fix it up.
Everything in Puerto Rico. I lived there for 6 months in 2015. I left here and closed my house down. I went down there. I lasted 6 months because everything there was 2 weeks. If your water main breaks or everything's out, it takes 3 months, or you need to somebody in the system that you can grease so they can come quicker. Nothing happens like in 2 or 3 weeks when they come. And that's being lucky. So it's weird. It's a shithole. There's a road during the hurricane in 2017 was torn up by Hurricane Maria. I talked to my aunt on a weekly basis, and a couple of months ago she told me that they had just fixed it. You've got 2025. They had just fixed it, where you can actually travel through it again.
And we're getting Europe on that, at least I know it's like a mixed bag. It's like certain things like maintenance. It's not bad, but it's not like US. In the US, like it's all hustle culture. It's almost like they'll literally come to you saying, like I've been places where they see stuff and I've had people knock on my door and they'll be like, hey, you need that there's stuff fixed for you right now. And stuff like that. But then here it's like hire someone and it might take a couple weeks, and obviously everything, things aren't as like everything's very almost strict 9 to 5. It's right now there's no industry at all. Like 6, 7 o'clock, nothing else that explodes at like around 8:30. Everyone goes over. But the interesting thing is that on like the service side, it seems like that, and on the government side, at least in my experience, it's been way better. Like going to the DMV here, it was crazy. Like I went in, they gave me their license, and they got my license, they all set up, and within like a day, like in terms of like hey, it's gonna take a while, you're born, blah blah blah. Like a day later, they call me, they're like, oh, we got yours done, but your wife, she forgot something. Why don't you just come back and fix it right now? Because there was a typo on the form, and it's like in the U.S., where I'm in Oregon, it's like there's a typo on a form. They tell you like a month later, they're like, oh, they tell you your license. They'll tell you like, oh, you're gonna screw up. You have to resubmit after a month, not telling you. So it's weird. It's like the government here, at least for me, it was very
Wait, where are you at?
Netherlands. I think European things in general thing. It's like basically workers. It's pretty consistent. Like even at my job, like most people don't even start. You don't even think about working until 9. You come in like we're 9, like one person in the office. 9 o'clock things just like it's almost like lights flip on. People start working.
Don't they have like where that isn't like at the time that you guys go home too, like literally on the hour, the lights flicker
Pretty
on,
much.
everybody goes home.
Depends. But it's like a very strong culture of, if that makes sense. So it's like 5 o'clock rolls around and everyone just starts getting up. And it's just like, wait, we're in the middle of something. No.
That's how it was in Germany. I lived in Germany for 8 years. If you showed up like with 1 minute left, they were like, no, we're closed. Sorry. The moment that they just close the door on you.
They either do that or close early because they were just like, people, but they were going to close early. They never say like,
So in the U.S., so I had a funny experience because I worked at my kind of early in my career, I did software stuff. I was at a software company, and we were like, whatever. Like it was a great lifestyle, but when crunch time came, everybody was in small hours. It was really crazy. And then I switched to kind of more like engineering. I went to I kind of switched industries, and it was a total different culture. Like I remember being at a 3:30 meeting, and it was like, we're behind, we gotta get this shit done. And like, oh god, it's 4 o'clock. Oh, okay, I'm gone, I gotta go. Like so, wait, what? You're going? You're leaving? Yeah, well, I'll see you at 8. Like, so the attitude was very different. It was more like, yeah, we can get this done, but also we have hours. And in the software culture, it was more like, no, we gotta panel, rental, whatever. It was like, we stay up, we do this crazy shit. So within the U.S., in different industries, you have very different cultures. So
the age
was a smaller, the engineering company was a much smaller company, but I thought that it was interesting because I'm like, oh, this was more of like a industry, like we weren't a union or anything, but within engineering there is that culture of unions and stuff. So I kind of felt like we were tied into that like hourly workday thing, and it was just a bit of culture. So it's like, yeah, we all agree we got to get shit done, but we'll have to reconvene in the morning. Which I kind of liked in a way. It's like clear boundaries. Good on you guys. Let's do this.
That's kind of nice.
Yeah, it is.
To be like, hey, I got a life outside of work, man.
It was nice, and it's also something that I've never like. Part of me, my mentality is still that older thing. It's like, well, I'm not done. I'm gonna go home and log in and do this shit. And I'm like, I gotta keep reminding myself in a way, like, you know what? Like, you get in, you work, and you're done, and like, leave that shit behind. And the engineers were really good at that, but the software folks were not. And that was just this weird kind of macho software tech culture, I think. But so, anyways, like in the U.S., I assume it's still that way in a way.
Oh,
It varies.
1,000% still like that.
Industry to industry, it varies a lot.
Yeah, it's generally like that. I live in San Francisco, so it's like full of tech people. So it's like that. But I work in film and documentary in particular. The expectation is you're going to be working around the clock. Yeah, I do.
Did you see last night the crew 11 capsule coming in?
No.
Apparently it came in around midnight. It was like streaking across the sky. A lot of people saw it, so I was wondering.
No. I don't go outside very much. Hence, because of the work thing. But yeah. And there's just so many tech people here too, so and startup culture. So it's like work all the time.
If you're not at work, you're looking for work usually, or trying to find PC or something. I used to work there for several companies there. Started up it's crazy.